Going on Casually FC, welcome to another Casually FC Reacts. Today, we're going to be reacting to a very peculiar take on who should take over the managerial role for Chelsea if Potter and when, in my opinion, gets sacked. Who is the right fit? Now, there have been a lot of options thrown out there. And before we go ahead and talk about that, big up to the panel, Chris, Will, Ahmed, and myself, Marshall DBX, for being a part of this. You guys are always appreciated. But also, if you want to appreciate them even more, make sure you're smashing that like button. Hit the subscribe if you're new. Also, big up to everyone who's here on time, which is not me, but everyone who is in the chat, because you're part of the bell notification squad. You got the notification that we're going to go live. So if you haven't already done so and you happen to be here, or you're watching this in the past, hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on live streams whenever we go live. See, Scott got the notification. That's why he's here.
Yeah.
Hey.
What's going on, Scott?
Too much.
But big up to everyone. Make sure you smash the like button, like I said, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Check out the description for links to other channels and other Twitters and all that other content. Make sure you're checking out our memberships as well. We have 4 different tiers starting at 99p, and it does help out the channel greatly. Oh yeah, super chats and all that stuff is available as well. So today we got a very interesting video. Now, just saying it flat out, I like Younes. Younes is, I think, one of the better Chelsea creators on the platform. I think I've said this before. But this is an interesting take because I don't think anyone is really vouching for Mourinho like Younes has been vouching for Mourinho. I'm sure there's some people on Twitter that have been vouching for him. But I'm interested to see, and Chris, and I'm interested to see what Younes has to say about it. I don't necessarily agree with Jose, but we'll see. We'll just see what Younes says. Again, I'm not trying to come at Younes or anything. I just want to see what he says and see where our opinions differ. But yeah, and before we even start, I kind of owe Younes an apology. We did the react video on him not too long ago about how he's Potter out already before he trusted the process and all that jazz. Well, it turns out he was right. So I'm going to admit to. I thought he was jumping on the gun on having Potter not be the guy for the club too soon. In the long run, he ended up being right. So you know what? Give Younes his flowers for that one. He was right about Potter, and we all see it now. I mean, maybe it might be a different story at the end of the season, but I think the damage has been done already. So we'll see. But Younes, if you ever see this, I am sorry.
40 points
right.
March, man. 40 points March.
40 points. 40
all
points.
or nothing. 40 points, all or nothing.
It'll be March Madness for Chelsea.
March.
Let's go ahead and I guess let's go ahead and start. We all talked about what managerial picks we have for the most part yesterday, but we'll see. So this video is going to start off. I'm going to start off with what he thinks about Hansi Flick and Luis Enrique. So let's go ahead and start things off.
I'll tell you what, Hansi Flick, personally, I want to put in the same bracket as Luis Enrique to an extent because Hansi Flick and Luis Enrique both have similar paths in terms of Luis Enrique had MSN, Barcelona, massive success, right? Huge win percentage. At Roma, pretty low. Celta Vigo, I'm not really going to mention Celta Vigo because anyone would probably flop at Celta Vigo with all due respect to Celta Vigo. But there's that. And in terms of Barcelona, came after Pep and it was just Messi, Suarez, Neymar. You could argue that team could have managed itself. And we said that back at the time. I remember saying that and going, this team can manage itself. You can put a flipping Broom in charge of Barcelona and the Broom would win the Champions League. Like, it's just because that Barcelona team was actually quite incredible. So there is that. With Spain, national team route,
sorry.
It's been all right. Dodgy World Cup, but done all right, I guess. Hansi Flick, similar situation. Gets to Bayern Munich, does absolutely immense, right? With a top Bayern Munich team. Does it?
Okay, so before he goes on about Hansi Flick, I think it's a little on.
I was going to say, can we carry on with the Flick stuff? Because there's a point I've got on all of this that, like, on both of them kind of combined, that, like, it just that this doesn't
Mark,
correlate.
Can I speak on the Roma situation as well? Because there's a
let's wait till the end then. Let's just wait till the end. Okay. Yeah, we'll not get all out in one stone.
immense, wins every trophy there is to win. Luis Enrique almost wins every single trophy there is to win. Technically, he did, but not in the same season. Hansi Flick did it with Bayern Munich in the same season, much like Pep at Barca before Luis Enrique did it in the same season. Hansi Flick, you could argue, done a better job at Bayern Munich than Pep did at Bayern Munich. So there is that. When you look at the styles, Luis Enrique, very possession-based. Very, 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 very possession-based. Whether that's horizontal or vertical, the guy is just all about possession. I don't know if going possession-based is the right way for us. I don't want us to keep the ball just for keeping the ball, for the sake of just keeping the ball. That's just not... That's my opinion. You might be up for that. You might be like, yeah, we absolutely need to control the game and hold the ball for 90 minutes, right? Fair. With me, I'm more about just the actual output, let alone... I don't care if we had 40% possession. I don't care. What's the score? That's all I'm bothered about. So it depends how you read the game. Luis Enrique, very, very possession based. Luis Enrique, I feel though, I don't know, does he have the quality that I see that this Chelsea team absolutely needs right now, which is discipline, mentality, and players being pushed? We need these players to be pushed. Now, some would argue that's not what you got to do in the modern era right now, because players are soft. You got to, put an arm around them, and you got to be nice, and you got to just, it's all about the football, and it's not about the physicality, and it's not about the mentality. I get that players are soft, but there's a reason why players are soft. I think it's being allowed too much to happen. There needs to be a reality check. Some players need to be put through walls in order to actually give a wake-up call and start out competing the competition. I feel like that is the way. And Chelsea right now are losing their identity, losing their mentality, losing all sorts. So we need discipline. Hansi Flick, I feel like, brings more discipline than Luis Enrique. That's just the way that I see it. Although I do kind of put them in a similar bracket, although I would prefer Hansi Flick. But the one thing is Hansi Flick has a job at the moment, and it's a job that I don't think he would leave. At least if it was a job that he would leave, I don't think he would leave. So it's tough. Luis Enrique is available. So there's those two.
Okay. Will, on the Roma thing and anything else, and then Scott, whatever you want to say.
The Roma thing happened in a very short period of time. There's a lot of context that needs to go to it, especially with it was one season. It was a poor season. It was relatively new in his career. I think it was around 2012, around that.
Wasn't it his second management job, Will?
Sorry, he went
Wasn't
to
it second club?
It was Barcelona B. It was Barcelona B.
Oh yeah.
And then he might have done something in between, and then it was to Roma. They gave him a job as a transitional manager. I'm pretty sure, almost like a project. Mm-hmm. It was a transitional period at that time at Roma, and he underperformed. He was 2 points behind Inter Milan. I think it was seventh, not very good, and he decided to resign before anything really got going. And a lot of people around Roma at that time, I've read many articles in it, actually believed in him to still carry the job forward, but he showed a bit of dignity to leave that job. Celta Vigo, yeah, there's context. There are context behind these sort of these jobs that I think people don't look into. And I think it's very, as much as I love Younes' content and have done for a long time, I think it's disingenuous to say MSN can manage themselves, because we've seen similar situations with superstar teams that have underperformed.
Yeah, look at PSG.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. PSG is the big one that comes up to mind. Because thank you for touching on that. I was going to touch on that. I feel like it's a little unfair. Of course, you got to give it credit. When you have a decent enough manager and those quality of players, yeah, you're gonna win some titles. You're gonna win some trophies. Not guaranteed it though, and you have to be able to manage that squad, and you have to manage the positions. You have to be able to manage the egos and stuff. We saw how Pochettino failed in his first season at PSG, and then he had arguably, at that time he had the best attack in football. He had Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe, and still couldn't beat Lyon in league, and then got eliminated in round of 16, I believe, in the Champions League.
Who did they go to? Was it Bayern Munich?
I don't remember, but it wasn't good. It wasn't good.
No, they beat Bayern Munich.
Oh no, I think they lost to Barca. When Poch was in charge, when they go out to Barca or Bayern,
they got eliminated by Man City, I think. Actually,
yeah, Man City.
Man City eliminated them. Yeah.
Poch actually beat Bayern and Barcelona. He beat them both and then lost to City.
Yeah. So, and being eliminated with PSG with that, they were the favorites in that They were in that Champions League, and they were eliminated in round 16. So it goes to show that just because you have the best players in the world doesn't mean you're necessarily going to guarantee to win anything. Look at Barcelona. Just Barcelona this season alone. All the transfers they got, all the levers they pulled, for what? They just got eliminated from Euros.
They are winning the league.
Europa League. I'm sorry, not Euros.
Yeah, Europa
League. So I don't want to give 100% credit to or discredit Luis Enrique because he had MSN. They had to be managed. So there's that. Scott, did you want to add something?
Yeah, I want to read a couple of extracts from an article that I read on Chelsea FC 365 by someone I follow on Twitter, Euro expert, just on both Enrique and on Flick. On Flick, while in charge of Bayern, Flick lost just 7 games in 86 matches, producing a win percentage of 81.4%. For context, that's 6% higher than Pep's time in Munich and better than anything else the Spaniard has managed. Also on Flick, Lewandowski has praised Flick's man management before, saying he makes an effort to understand and communicate with all of his players, something that appears missing at Robin, and I completely agree. On Enrique as well, where was it? Enrique is dedicated to possession-based football and will avoid using players who do not fit into his ideology, something that a lot of people have been crying out for certain players in this team to leave because they don't fit what we want to do. The likes of Mount, Gallagher, they don't fit what we want. They don't fit possession. They will be gone, and more power to it. Also, as well, just in terms of Enrique, clearly inspired by Pep Guardiola. It's a clear 4-3-3 system that's based on dominating possession, but also finding quick transitional opportunities through short passes. And he has the ability to adapt. The most noted example was when he switched Barca to a 3-4-3 ahead of their return leg against PSG. That was a game in which they won. That was that 6-2 which they turned around. That 6-2 when it was one of there's like one of those greatest in whatever it's called, greatest comebacks in Champions League history. I think highly of Zidane as a manager because he won 3 Champions Leagues. There's no other team in the history. Only one other team in the history of the Champions League / European Cup has done that. No other team in the history of the Champions League has done that.
Yeah, with Zidane.
No other manager, I should say. No other manager has won the Champions League 3 times with the same team in the history of the Champions League. No other manager. So regardless, and it's the same thing of like the MSN thing with Enrique. You could people tried to make the same argument about Zidane, but you still got to win those because Pep's got riches galore at City and can't win shit. Can't win the Champions League at all. You've got like managers such as Enrique, like. They won it once, couldn't win it, or they've won it, couldn't win it more than once, couldn't win it back to back to back. Alex Ferguson won it twice or 3 times. Sorry,
twice.
Wait, Alex Ferguson won it twice. No,
didn't he win?
Yeah,
2 or 3 times. I can't remember.
He definitely no. Alex Ferguson won it twice, but he won one before him.
Yeah. I couldn't remember. It was either 2 or 3. But yeah, like. For me, Luis Enrique and Hansi Flick are 1A, 1B in terms of who should get the job. The only thing that Enrique has over Flick is the fact he's out of a job for me. Yeah, like they should be top of the conversation before anything. They both fit. They're differing style of plays in terms of one is very possession heavy, one is pressing heavy, but they are both front foot, not defensive football that I want us playing going forward. And also, I would say that both of those methods of playing don't have a shelf life. They have we're seeing with Pep at City, and we've seen in the past with even with Klopp, the reason why Klopp is failing now is because he doesn't replace the players who he's run into the ground. Hansi Flick does. And Hansi Flick's system does not run players into the ground either, to the extent that Klopp's does. Both of these managers play a style of football that you can build a dynasty on, and you can go and do what Pep has done. With these managers, if you have the right team, you can go and build a 5 league titles in 7 years or 6 league titles in 7 years, whatever it is. With managers that Younes is eventually going to mention, you can't do that because in 3 years they're not here anymore because they've either fallen out with the board, fallen out with the players, fallen out with the fans, or all of the above.
Yeah,
I think
Younes, prior to this part of the video, Younes did mention Simeone, Pochettino.
Keep him as far away from this. Keep Simeone as far away from this as possible.
Yeah, I agree with that one. And I would probably say the same thing towards Jose, but with Jose, I feel like there's a little bit more sentiment to it, and I feel like I think Jose's style of football is antiquated, and it's kind of starting to show at Roma, I believe. I think their form has dwindled quite a bit since when he first started at the club.
They're defending kind of well, but yeah, not
really. Oh, their defense is incredible. I think their defense is statistically the best in the league.
With shots against, 100% it is. I'm pretty sure.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say. Oh wait, sorry.
Go ahead.
Wait, okay, yeah. With I completely agree with what Scott said as well. Especially with apparently Flick's one of the best man managers that some of these experienced players have ever seen at Bayern Munich, especially with the likes of Thomas Müller, who brought him back to the limelight as well. After I think Kovac kind of didn't respect what he could still bring to the club, as well as Zidane. I'm very critical of some of the things Zidane has done, but obviously as a winner, why would I doubt a winner like man management wise? Probably one of the best man managers in the sport, like easily. But I think Zidane, I don't think he suits what we're trying to do as much as Flick or Enrique. I think,
Go ahead.
Enrique or Flick probably should be the two favourites.
I was going to ask you guys, do you think you could probably also, like, for anyone who's making the argument that, MSN could have managed themselves and all that and jazz and whatever, could you even make the same argument for Hansi Flick having the players the like of Lewandowski, a top goal scorer, and Kimmich, one of the best DMs in the world?
No, because there's two things. Number one is, as has just been pointed out, look what Kovac was doing with them beforehand. Like he managed to make Müller look washed. Like Müller was at the point where he looked done. Like Lewandowski was not the 40 goals in a season breaking Gerd Müller's record striker that like he was a year or two ago. Like Lewandowski was not that best striker in the world, arguably, under Kovac. And as I pointed out earlier, his win percentage at Bayern is better than Pep's. And for me, Pep is arguably, like at worst, top 3 managers of my lifetime.
Yeah.
And his win percentage is better, like, at Bayern's than Pep's is.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even just that. Look at what he's done in terms of developing players. Musiala, he was the one who gave him his start. He's the one who trusted him over an £80 million signing in Sane. He trusted him at times over other players. Look at what he did in terms of Gnabry. Gnabry was not bad, but he was not the player we're looking at like a year ago. Like, look at what he did for Davis. Alphonso Davis came in as like a
Gnabry's season in that
winger.
Champions League winning season was amazing.
I would say it, and like with that Alphonso Davis thing, he brought like a guy who was going to be like 4th or 5th choice winger from Canada, and made him one of the best left backs in the whole world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Especially with how he managed with a lot of injuries as well. Thiago, especially, comes to mind, and Alaba, who was injured at left back and then got brought back, and he actually gave Davies the benefit of the doubt with his quality, and then put Alaba into centre half as well to accommodate like different shapes in and out of possession, which I think is very impressive. I think, to be fair, Flick and Enrique are two names that just give me so much hope. Especially Flick, I think suits this squad more. To be completely honest, I think Flick does suit us a bit more. But Enrique's press is also very good as well. So I think to say, go on, Marshall.
No, I was just saying there's pros and cons to each manager.
I was going to say the only con I can see against Enrique is that he is a little difficult at times to get on with. He is an abrasive person at times.
True.
But like, it depends how bad, because Tuchel was the same, and he was able to work in a way with Mourinho and with Czech and etc. that it worked, and it didn't work really for the new owners. But I think it could have done. Obviously, we'll never know, but I think it could have done. If he can work in a way where it's like the owners are going to be on his side, like they're going to put faith in him, they're going to give him the money and the means to succeed. I feel as though that can work. And then it's just about whether the players buy in. And I'll be real, most of the players that aren't going to buy in are going to be players that aren't good enough. And if you're not good enough, you can leave. There's the door. See you later. Goodbye. Like, as I said, the likes of Mount, the likes of Gallagher. If Kovacic doesn't buy in, he can go. If X player doesn't buy in, Havertz, whatever. These players can buy in and prove and, stay and be part of the dynasty, or you can leave and go to a mid-table club where you'll do fuck all your career.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me,
go ahead, Ahmed.
I think a lot has already been said that I would have said in the panel. I just think at the end of the day, these guys, they bring experience. They've handled the big players. They've done it on the big stage, and that is what we need right now: experience and being able to be able to do it on the big stage. And if we can get any of those three, I would be happy. But I think again with Enrique, the worry for me with Enrique is that I just don't think he's pliable enough to change his tactics enough compared to the others. But Mourinho, he's an old hand. Let's just leave him where he is. All right,
he's not done.
Listen, respectfully,
Mourinho's
he can
done.
just stay where he is.
He's not. Look what he's doing in Syria.
For me, Hansi Flick is a good option. If you can't get Hansi in, I would argue Pochettino wouldn't be too bad as a second option.
Can I just touch on what Chris said as well? I agree with everything
He's
that
doing pretty well.
But the thing is, though, if there was one Chelsea manager or former Chelsea manager in Syria that I'd seriously consider, it would probably be Sarri. He's second now.
Yes, exactly.
Second.
Just beat Napoli.
I would take a Sarri though.
I'm taking Sarri over Mourinho. I'm telling you that now.
No, but I just feel like Mourinho can bring something to the club as well, like his mentality and everything. And every time he does come to Chelsea, he does win a Premier League. I know, obviously, it ended badly, but I don't think that's really all on Jose how it ended either.
Yeah, I think
the problem. Go ahead, Will. Let me you finish off.
No, actually, Ahmed, I think you'll say pretty much along the lines of
what I would say with Mourinho is that Mourinho has a shelf life. Like the story starts all glorious, but it always sadly ends up the same. And we've seen it now at Chelsea, then United, and Tottenham. It was a bit different, I would say, but slightly different. But at both Chelsea and United, particularly his second term and then his first term at United, the situation was the same at least. So
Shall we continue the video then and see what Younes thinks about Mourinho? All right, let's see.
As I've said, it's the dynastic. It's Simeone to go there. Mourinho. I honestly look at, right, and I see, for me, he's my pick, and I'll tell you why. Some people are going to say you're being sentimental. I was here on this platform advocating to bring back Mourinho when AVB was in charge, right? I was here. I was doing that. Why was I doing that? Because it was sentimental.
Afro Younes, for those of you who don't remember, absolute Chelsea Younes.
That was it.
And again, Ahmed.
Sentiment FC.
Yes, Sentiment FC. Most people have seen the video, so.
Sentimental. We had Mourinho 04-07, absolute boss, the best Mourinho that anyone has ever seen. Some would argue Inter Milan are the only ones that can come into that conversation, might I add, right? Real Madrid's to an extent, but no one else had Mourinho like we did except for Inter. So there's that. When you have AVB, and it's not been too long after you saw that Mourinho leave your club, you're like, mate, you got to bring him back right now. This is the biggest mistake we've ever made. Bring him back to the club immediately. We had Benitez on an interim and the deal was already done with Jose. We just didn't know. I was advocating for that. That was sentiment. I wasn't looking at the team and going, how do we play our football? What's best for us? What's the circumstance? I was going, yo, look, AVB is washed. AVB.
Why is this moving frame by frame? Give me 1 second, boys. Let me just really...
Computer's having a stroke again, yeah?
On that, like, he's doing a really bad. I don't know if he's got to the point of like where he's trying to convince us this isn't sentiment yet. If he is, this is a really bad argument for why this is nothing but sentiment so far.
I do believe Jose can definitely bring a lot into this club right now because, like, the way this club is now, mentally wise, it's low. Like, I feel like Jose can.
Mourinho would come here for 2, maybe 3 years. We'd maybe challenge for the league, maybe win an FA Cup, and then he'd go after falling out with the players and the board. That's That's Mourinho now. Mourinho has managed to fall out with every single board at every single club he's been to, every single one without fail.
He's falling out
He's
with
managed to
Roma right
fall out
now.
with players. I say he's managed to fall out with either the majority or some players at every single club he's been at without fail. His football does not in any way, shape, or form represent what we as a club are trying to do going forward with these owners. His football does not in any way represent what gets the best out of the current crop of players we've got in any way going forward. Also, we've currently got a group of young players, and I'm not talking like youth players. No, I'm talking young players that have played a decent amount of games. That and Mourinho don't mesh. Look what happens when he came in and he had to work with Mata. Player of the year 2 years in a row, gone. Look at what happened when he had to come and work with the likes of De Bruyne and Salah, gone. Look at what happens when he has to work with players at certain clubs, like even at Roma. He went there and there was a decent amount of young players. There still are, but
He liked Oscar as young.
Most of the players he's sticking with are of the older, are more experienced. Mourinho's a good manager, doesn't fit what we're trying to do going forward at all in any way. And he would be here for no longer than 3 years, and we'd be back at this same conversation in 3 years.
Can I ask you a question, Scott? To play devil's advocate, I agree with the majority of what you just said, yeah. But is there any serious evidence that would suggest that Enrique or Flick would also be here for the long term? I think with Flick, I think his opportunities out there that he could go for, I think are still very high off the back of the Bayern job. I know the Germany job or whatever, he'll have more chance to prove that. But if we're looking off of a sample size of Enrique and Flick, you'd expect them to be here for 3, maybe 4 years at a push. So I get what you mean it'll be easier to pick up off of an Enrique for 3 years or a Flick for 3 years for the next manager. I get that. But I'm not expecting a manager to be here for 4, 5, 6 years. However, I just don't see that as a feasible thing to say, to be honest. I think Enrique or Flick will probably be here for similar amount of time that I think Mourinho or someone similar would be here for, if I'm being completely honest. As much as Mourinho personally isn't my choice at all. But do you really see Flick and Enrique being here 4, 5, 6 years?
I do, depending on the circumstances around them being here, because the main reasons why Flick and Enrique left because, hang on, let me find the reasons. Give me a second.
There's a tragedy as well.
Not Enrique. I know for at least when it comes to Hansi Flick, the main reason why he left was because he had a falling out of Slamahadovic, who is the director of football there at Bayern Munich.
Yeah, so he fell out with the director of football. And that was the main reason why he resigned. In terms of Enrique, the quoted reason, or the reason that I have as to why he left, was because of the pressure he felt at the new camp. As to reason why he left, he's got a lot less pressure than that at Chelsea. He will just have less pressure than he will at Chelsea. Also, as well, as I mentioned earlier, the owners are looking to the way they are acting is they are acting in a way that they are trying to be amicable with their manager, which is good from Flick's perspective, and you'd imagine hopefully good with Enrique. And the thing is with those two as well, the biggest thing for me with those two is even if they are only here 3 years, maybe 4 years, is when they are gone, they have put the club and the team in a position where you can go and get the next guy, and it's just a continuation. If we go and get Mourinho, you're going to have to completely change the style of football unless you're just planning to be a defensive counter-attacking team the rest of your existence. And number 2, he's going to have fractured that squad so much that you're going to have to find someone who is going to be able to bring that together and make them a collective unit again. That's the biggest thing for me, is he is going to fracture that squad so much.
Can we continue the video then, boys?
Continue it.
Yep, of course.
Go ahead.
He doesn't know what he's doing. We need to get rid of this guy, and we need to get Jose back. And that was it. That was my entire basis of the argument. Bring back Jose, because it was beautiful, and I need more of it. That's not the case now. I would argue this is a lot less sentimental than the second time. This time is actually more logical than the second time. If I had a choice to do it the second time or to do it now, I would be saying do it now. Why? Chelsea right now lack the one thing that I know Jose would come in and implement immediately, and I have to say off the bat, I am aware that if Jose comes, it might not last. I'm willing to take that because we need a foundation built again. We need someone to come in and lay our identity up again, which it's disintegrated. We haven't got it. It's gone. We need someone to put that platform back in place. And then if he's here for the long term, great. If he doesn't get results online, he gets sacked. Well, I'm sorry. Third time we tried. Good luck, mate. You know, I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
All right, real quick. Okay, so I get where he's coming from. I get where he's coming from with the foundation. The issue I have is that I think what we're trying to do right now is Chelsea, as of the 2019, 2018. I think we've been trying to break away from that foundation now. We're trying to establish a new foundation, a new spine, a new style of football. I feel like if Jose comes in and establishes his foundation, it's going to be back to counterattacking football.
What's wrong with
It's not even that. It's got a shelf life. It doesn't last for more than about 3 seasons because we saw with Conte, we saw with Mourinho before. You saw with at Arsenal with Emery. Like once a team figures out how to break you down, we're seeing now with Simeone at Atletico Madrid. Once a team figures out how to break you down and knows how to stop you, which just as an example with Simeone, also the background noise at someone is mad.
Yeah.
Is it me? No.
Will. But as soon as like for example with Simeone, his team this season especially are notoriously bad at being able to break down low blocks. As soon as you get that point, I think it is you, Ahmed. As soon as a team manages to stop you counterattacking or manages to find a way to break you down and stop you counterattacking, you're done. At that point, then the players aren't enjoying it because the style of football is boring to play under. And it stops a lot of expression for players, especially if you look at the squad we've got now: Madueke, Mudryk, Enzo, Felix. Felix literally just left to get away from that football so he could express himself more. That you're going against everything that we've just signed by signing it. Also, my biggest argument against what Younes just said is I agree with everything he says in terms of we need to lay a foundation. Why does Mourinho need to be the one to do that? Can you not do that?
Yeah, I was thinking
that's the point that I wanted to...
Because I'd argue that Sarri laid a foundation for Lampard. You can do that. You can do that foundation laying with any manager. It doesn't have to be Mourinho.
Exactly. It's not like
the reason why that he keeps on choosing Mourinho is because of Mourinho will bring that leadership mentality.
I think the mentality is a big part. Yeah.
That's what I think.
I just highlighted earlier with Flick and Enrique. Sorry to interrupt, Ahmed, but I highlighted earlier, both of these guys have shown that from Flick, he's a very good manager, and from Enrique, we saw that if you're not going to buy into what he's wanting to do, you're going. Both of these guys will instill that mentality through different means.
I get that, but I'm just saying that's the point of view that I think Younes is trying to bring out. Essentially, that's what he believes that he's gonna bring to the table. Yeah.
I was going to say as well, if Jose did come back, and I think it probably won't last too long. I think 3 years is probably about right what Younes said. If he wins a Premier League, I'm just saying 3 years. Yeah, if he wins a Premier League and steadies the ship and gets it back going, maybe it might get quite bad at the end again. But say wins the Premier League, I'm taking that. We ain't won a Premier League since Conte, 2017. I'm taking that because I know Jose has it in him to win Premier League because his mentality and everything, what Younes said. He can definitely do it again for us. But he is my only choice, though. Hello?
Can you guys hear me?
No, we can't hear you, man.
Welcome, Jose Sexual. That's why I invited you, my friend.
Hey, man, Jose Sexual
is man.
Man, for me, see, this is different because for me, it's basically sentimental because I love Jose. I love Jose. Jose Mourinho is the reason why I love Chelsea Football Club, man. So I love that guy, and I think he has something to offer for us. But I don't know if he can do it for the 3 or 4 years going forward. Do I think he would be good for us to steady the ship and make us into Chelsea again? I think a year or 2 would be good for us, but I don't know what is that consequences for those 1 or 2 years. Yeah. That's my main issue with it. Because I love Jose, but I also know that Jose is difficult for the modern males to deal with.
Oh my god.
Can I add to that? Can I add to that?
Why do you have to wait
Can I
like
add
that,
to
man?
it? Can I?
Because
It's true. It's true, man.
That's why I
Like,
have to have
Like-
Kyle on the panel for this
like you
one.
would
I-
never see somebody like a Lampard doing what Mount did, like that dumb TikTok crap. Like you never see Terry do that. But
Oh
it's
my
true, bro. It's a
Chris,
different era. It's a
Chris,
different era, man.
yeah,
I'm not saying
yeah,
this
he's
as a
right.
dig. I'm not saying it's a dig. I'm just
Chris,
saying
what are you
like
trying to say, Chris?
I was going to add to that. Like, you know, so it can go badly with Jose. Yeah, we sacked him at like 16, but what happened to the season after that?
Yeah.
But
We won the league
that's true, but Chris,
again.
if I say one thing, yeah, Chris, my issue with the whole thing of when you like wanting Jose ahead of like these names, Jose for me would be like a fifth choice kind of.
Yeah.
I
Fifth.
never ask me if I want him back seriously because my heart will speak for my head. So don't even ask me that. But
Will,
no,
like,
for
he's
me,
not
top
even in.
three,
He's not even. I'll be real. He's not even my top 5.
that's fair enough.
bring-
But,
And the
No,
thing
but
is, like,
realistically, who you can
wait,
get? I
Chris,
think
can I
he's
say
top
one
3.
thing? Can I say one
did
thing?
you guys see what Matt Law just posted now?
yeah.
No.
That
I'll
is
go
crazy,
over
man.
that at the end. At
What
the
was
end of
you
the
gonna say,
video.
Will?
Wait, guys, can I say one thing? Yeah, knowing this fan base, yeah, let's say Flick and Enrique are available. If we don't go for Enrique or Flick or whoever and go for Jose, 2 years time, these same people that didn't want Enrique or Flick are gonna complain. Why did this big club go for Enrique over us? Why are we so stupid? Why are we stupid enough not to try and go for a Flick over a manager like whatever? I think
Yeah, I saw that as well, Ahmed. I saw that as well, man.
I
It's a
think
juicy
Yeah,
one.
what I'm trying to say,
I
what
would rather
what I would
them,
like to add quickly, is that Jose Mourinho arguably is part of the reason why part of the reason why we are in this mess. If you think
Is
about
he?
it, no Salah, no KDB.
No.
You know, who's the other guy? No,
I think
not
Conte's
Lukaku.
more-
You know,
Mata.
but
Mata, another one. Yo,
You're right, Conte. Yeah, but then Mata kind of went washed after like he went to United, though.
No, he didn't. He was.
Yeah,
No,
he
he's
was
all
never
right. No,
watched.
he's all right. No, but when he was like, it wasn't the same Mata at Chelsea, though, was it?
Yeah, because United was absolute shit, and I don't even like Mata
United
that
was
much.
garbage. United
Yeah.
were fucking awful.
True. Yeah, because Ferguson basically retired. Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
Matic, they ruined Matic as well. Matic went to them and he was
I was
ruined.
going to say,
Man.
Matic went there and like he was still good, but he wasn't the Matic that we had here.
Yeah.
What I will say,
Yeah.
what you said,
His
Kai,
level
I agree
dropped.
with in terms of like for a year or two, like he would steady the ship. But what we're saying there is he's basically a glorified interim manager.
yeah.
Which I don't want Jose Mourinho to be because I think he already has done so much for
I
Chelsea.
agree, and that's basically what we're saying with that. Like he's going to come in for a year or two, steady the ship, maybe win us an FA Cup, and then he'll leave, and the next guy will take over. Cool.
I
so
would
he's a
prefer him over
glorified
Potter.
proceeding.
That's my main opinion.
Yeah, no,
Like,
that's
for
I
me,
also prefer
and
Jose
I
over Potter,
just go back to kind of what Will said earlier, where it's like if you're thinking
I
about
would
this
take Emma
seriously,
Hayes
it's
over
like,
Potter, to be honest.
Yeah.
no, but that's again,
yeah,
but that's kind of what my point was going to be. It's like I'm taking
Yeah.
nearly anyone over Potter, and it's like just because
so
Potter's
bad,
been
man.
crap,
Oh
and it's
my
like
Yeah.
the new. I know that Marshall's probably going to touch on it a little bit later, but the news that came out tonight in terms of like Ruben Amorim, I'm taking him over Potter. I'm taking him over
Yeah.
Mourinho because even though his name isn't as big, it's because the pathway and what the club are looking to do suits a guy like that way more than Mourinho. Like Mourinho should stay where he is and just try and see what he can do for Roma. It makes
I
literally
want
no sense
Sarri,
in
man.
any
If Chelsea can get Sarri, man,
yeah, exactly.
That's
That's
an
what I said
interesting
earlier. I
take.
take him over Mourinho.
that is
Sorry, bro.
the best
Ah.
manager for us right now. He is so good. Look what he did to
Why?
Lazio, man. Look what he did to Lazio. Since he's been at Chelsea, he already won 3-4 trophies. Sarri is a good manager. A lot of people at Chelsea
Yeah,
didn't
he's
like to
very
hear
good.
it, but his project was much better than Lampard. He came in, he got us from a defensive football from Conte, and we were starting playing better from the back. I think if this guy has been given actually 1 or 2 seasons with the players that we have now, I think we would cook.
Yeah.
I think people that compare him to Potter actually piss me off, bro.
The thing is with
Because
It's a
unlike
violation, bro. It's a violation.
unlike
the thing
Potter,
with Sarri
Sarri
is
actually has
we
balls. Yeah,
we
go
saw
ahead,
as
go
well, like, or there's evidence to show that after a season, it does take a season for him to get his message across to the players, but after a season is when it clicks. We
Yeah, but
saw
look
with
at his
Lazio.
first season with us,
like,
though, Scott.
No,
His
but
first
that's
season
my
with
point.
us was
Guys.
good.
Like, as I say, like with Lazio, for example, like I know you can use just with Lazio. Like, last season they were okay, they were good, not incredible. Now look at them this season.
They're
They're even
amazing.
better.
Yeah.
They're one of the best attacking teams in Serie A. They're incredible.
And
they're
look at the
playing
budget
football,
they have.
not
They don't even
good.
have
That's
like
the-
a fraction of the budget
us.
that they have at other teams, man.
he's doing it.
Even with us, like there were points where it was dull and boring to watch, and it was monotonous. But there were certain elements you could like take from it that were good. And what we don't know, but it could have been the same sort of thing Lazio are doing in that second season.
Sarri also is. This is why I think sometimes you need to be stubborn as a manager as well. He had the balls to stick with what he wanted to do and get it working. Like he changed some things here.
But he knew what he wanted to do, though. Will, he's not like somebody like a Potter who doesn't know what he wants to do.
That's my point. Like he had something. Even with like Potter, one thing that he lacks is consistency with his 11 that he wants to pick. And if he's going to rotate week in, week out, like how are you going to achieve anything? Like you've got to, and do you know what? I have no sympathy for Potter ever since he said that Jorginho sale was a win-win. Don't complain to me about your fucking anything, with your lack of options in midfield. When
I didn't realize he said that. Didn't realize he said that.
Yeah,
I didn't realize either.
He said it's a
That's
win-win.
not one. That's
Why would
not
you
why
say
I
it's a
don't like
win-win?
him, though. For me, my main issue with him is how he carries himself despite us, despite us losing. The way he talks about us is like we're Brighton. Like, oh yeah, we'd be happy to win, but if we lose, it's not a big deal. And for me, it's like starting to trickle down the players. Like the players, and his policy where he gives like a day off after a loss, after a game or a loss or whatever. I can't accept that. Because players are just happy to lose now because they're like, oh yeah, shit, I'm gonna get a day off. It's not a reward. You're not supposed to get a reward for failure, bro.
Talking on Amorim as well, what I've heard about Amorim as well by some people that have watched way more Sport in Lisbon than anyone on this, unless any of you love Sport in Lisbon, whatever. Apparently, he's a bit of a bastard. Like he doesn't take shit either. So I agree with what Scott said completely. Of someone that doesn't take shit and has the winning mentality doesn't necessarily have to be Jose. If the board want to get the fans completely behind him, obviously no one inside the stadium is going to like say anything bad against Mourinho. I don't think so. That's the only
when Mourinho got sacked, if people forget this, at the stadium, there were people like complaining and had banners up like saying, "Why did he sack Mourinho, fam?"
Yeah, they called Hazard, Costa, and Cesc the three rats. I remember.
Yes.
Oh god, yeah.
That, man.
There'd just be more toxicity at the end of the day. But let's continue the video. This is a closed off panel for anyone who wants the link. Next time I'm gonna rotate panel. We do a react. I just like to change it up, so we're keeping it this 6 just because we have an interesting dynamic here. But let's continue the video.
Like the first time for sure. This time, whatever happens, happens, because you got to be realistic. There is no long term without the short term, people. There was more of a chance of hiring someone for the long term back then than there is now. So to think that now anyone's going to walk in and go, "Oh, we're thinking about the next 10 years," get out. Yeah. Get out. We thought that with Potter. Did we not? Look at us. And that's not to say it's everyone. But to expect to actually just look around and go, "He's the next Pep. He's the next Klopp. He'll be here for the next 7 years." Unrealistic. We had the mistake of everyone trying to find the next Sir Alex Ferguson and the next Arsene Wenger. Did we find them? No, you won't. Because football isn't like it was back then. And that's the reality. And hence why I'm saying it's not sentimental when it comes to Jose. I've thought this through and I know the points. I know the points about longevity and trying to go long term and all of those points. I am aware. I am aware. This club needs an identity again. This club needs a mentality. This club needs a culture. Who better than the manager that knows this club better than any other manager in the world right now that's currently in or not in employment? Mourinho knows this club, man. Mourinho, everyone would look at Jose and go, "Yo, this guy's been here many times." He probably knows rooms that we haven't been into yet. You know, at Cobham, he's probably aware of places that players haven't even gone to yet. Or at the bridge, you know. What
are you saying, Ahmed?
You described that like
Hogwarts.
Bro, we're all Younes is around the same age as I am, bro. Like you don't understand how much we worship Jose Mourinho.
How old is he?
Younes is like
I'm 24.
31. He's 31, 29, something like this. Like me, like, I'm 29.
He's 29.
We're about the same age.
The thing is, like, I get it, but it's like, where's the difference? By the way, where's the difference? Especially that I hate that he gets it. Where's the difference between that and people telling us, Kai, that Mason Mount gets it? Like,
no, I understand what he's trying to say, but the fact is, what we're trying to like, Jose will not work with this management. He will not. If people think Tuchel wouldn't work with them, like Jose, I love Jose, but Jose's a bastard. Jose's like me, bro. I'm impossible to work with. Ask my boss, bro, because he has ambition, and if you don't have those ambitions, he's gonna sacrifice those players. He's gonna be like, fuck off. I don't want you here. You're not in my plan. You're not doing this, and we already invested so much in these youth players who are just. I'm gonna tell you from now, yeah. Like, there's a lot of Mudryk might play for him. Felix, I don't know if Mourinho is a Felix type of guy because he's too much. Yeah, Mudaweka most likely he'd be like, this guy is too skinny, man. What is he doing on the wing, bro? He will find something to just
beef up, man.
throw them away.
He will like his tall
The only
players
one
too.
I'm for sure out of our attackers is probably Sterling. Because I remember Sterling was linked with Mourinho.
Yeah, Sterling. No, I think he would like Mudryk as well, because Mudryk remind me he's a good on a counter attack. He'd be good in a counter attack. So Mourinho likes his wingers. Mourinho likes his wingers to kind of be good on the counter attack.
Mourinho was in love with Sterling when he was at Chelsea.
But Havertz will not step foot. That's the one good thing about Mourinho coming in, bro. He's like, what?
Is that a bad thing if he gets rid of the deadwood?
No, but it's not this. It's not the fact that they just the deadwood. Mourinho. The thing with Mourinho is why he wins Premier League is because he has like a vision in his mind of what he wants, and that's all he wants. Remember, like when he gave the example of you just for Drogba, just pay and don't talk. Pay and don't talk. He has his vision in his head. He probably, if he even get the Chelsea job, he already has a team in his head that he wants to happen. Like, you remember what happened when he didn't get Pogba?
Even when he came second time,
when he didn't get Pogba from the board his second year after he won the Premier League, he threw his prem. He threw his toys out of the prem. Remember when we got Papajubi and he said like, I asked for Pogba and they gave me Papajubi.
Yes.
So yeah, and that was with Roman Abramovich, with a guy like Bowley, who's softer spoken, like probably a nicer guy. You know, I don't know, man. I don't know if it will work out. And I love Mourinho, man. I love Mourinho, bro. I read all his books. This is how much I love the guy, man. I read books about him, man.
In the summer of 2015, we did kind of throw Jose under the bus. Looking back on it,
we did.
100%.
But when Jose,
the only good signing was Pedro. That's the only good signing.
But Will. The thing with Jose, if he doesn't get what he wants, everybody has to suffer. He's like Tuchel. He's like Tuchel. Tuchel is the same. Tuchel is the same.
Didn't we want Pogba, Nainggolan?
No, Nainggolan was a Conte signing.
It was a
Conte signing.
Oh, it was Conte. Yeah, it was.
We wanted Alexis Sanchez. I think Alexis Sanchez we wanted.
Did we?
Or was it Conte who wanted Alexis Sanchez? I can't remember.
We wanted Sterling, Pedro or two.
So much of what Younes is saying just like reminds me of like Cobham fans, where it's just like you're not actually telling me like about Jose in terms of his tactics, in terms of the players we've got. You're just telling me that he's going to set a foundation and that he gets the club. Like,
but you know where it comes from, though. You know what it comes from. They're scared of failure. They think every project manager they get is going to be like Potter, because Chelsea have never been in this territory. You know what I mean? So.
I heard a question on Lewis's stream today, and I do kind of get it. Where it's like, is there such a thing, or is there such a thing as a project manager, or is not every manager a project manager? And I get the point, but it's like you can get someone that's a project manager, but isn't going to be someone like a Potter or like a Pochettino, maybe, where it's going to take a few years. Like, for example, like we've mentioned, a Flick or an Enrique, and Enrique comes in, and it's like he gives you everything you want in terms of that foundation. He gives you a way of playing. A philosophy and ethos of what he wants to do. He's going to do similar to what Jose does, where he's going to build that team around exactly what he wants to do, but it's going to be a style of football that, as we've seen from the way Pep plays and the way he wants to play, is very similar to how Pep plays. It's incredibly difficult to stop, especially when you have the right players in. Even if you want to play a low block, if you've got the right players, you can break that low block down. In terms of like defending as well, it's the best way to defend is having the ball. Because the other team, if they don't have the ball, they can't hurt you.
Yeah, he plays a very fluid system. I think a lot of people in England are not fair with Enrique, bro. They look what you have to work with in Spain, man. I think a lot of people are being like extremely cruel with him.
I'm a lot higher on him since I've read a couple more articles on him.
Yeah, but people were the same thing. If you remember, Scott, I don't know if you remember about Tuchel. A lot of English fans. All he did is in PSG. All he did is in PSG. Blah blah blah. Like, it's ridiculous.
I remember when I remember when Lampard was on the cusp of getting sacked, and you wanted Enrique then as well, didn't you? With Tuchel,
I wanted Enrique and I wanted Tuchel. Remember, I'm one of the first people who said Tuchel. Tuchel would do wonder for us. And people are like, he's not proven. You just give Lampard until the end of the season. So what they're doing with Potter now. These Chelsea fans don't learn, bro. I don't know. They have too much niceness in this fan base. And for me, like, I think people has been scarred with the project manager. They think if it's a project manager, we have to be in 10th. Because Lampard, it happened to us with Lampard, and it happened to us with Potter. But we just got shitty managers. That doesn't mean every project manager is a shitty manager.
Real quick before you guys
Lampard was a shit coach. I'm not going to revise. I'm not going to revise history.
You're absolutely right. But real quick, guys, before we continue on, nearly 80 of you guys are watching, and that like button is only at 33. Smash those likes. Get in your memberships. We have 4 different tiers starting at 99p.
Yeah.
Subscribe if you're new. All the fun stuff. Ahmed, go ahead and Will as well, and then let's continue.
Marshall need those weekly trims. So come on, join the membership, bro.
I was just gonna say Matt and what's it called? Frank Lampard's first season where he got 4th place. It was a fluke, and we forget like it was the other teams that were around us weren't that great. So
I will give him credit though. He did get go on.
I'll say that season, the reason why we did so well is because there's literally no expectations on us as a club.
Yeah.
Bro, if anyone's telling you they expected us to finish 4th with that team, they're a liar.
No, I didn't. I said like
if anyone expected us to finish 4th with that team, you're a flat out liar. I do not.
But also, Scott, I think people kind of they over celebrated that season for me. 65 points, nothing to be celebrated, man. Or 62 points, whatever it was.
No, but I was impressed.
Good, but it's like
I'm impressed, man. I think people kind of.
I'll also maintain this till the day I die. Is a lot of what Lampard did, especially in the first season, a lot of the patterns and play he used came from Sarri. He used a lot of patterns of play that was already there from Sarri. Because notice when he tried to play his own system, when he tried to play his own system and do his own thing, he flopped. And the same way at Everton.
And same way Everton as well. Scott, same way at Everton.
He flopped.
He flopped. For me, I love Lampard as a player, but as a manager, he's probably like the worst I've seen. Obviously, Potter came in. Potter
took that. I agree with what Kai says as well with that whole project manager thing. As in, you can still be getting consistent goals with obviously improving every year. For example, even if we were to get Poch, I know that's not everyone's gonna like that appointment. I would still be confident with Poch if we trim the squad a little bit and brought in maybe another player or so that we need here and there. I would be confident that he would at least get us top 4 comfortably and would challenge at least in cup competitions like the FA Cup and League Cup. I would be willing to back him at least for the first season on that level, and I think he'd be able to achieve a lot of the short-term goals that Potter has starved us from. Like Potter, I know Potter wasn't everyone's first choice, but no one expected him to get like 2 wins in 16, 17.
17, yeah.
There's no one that we can bring in now that can do worse. Just like no one.
You know what's crazy about Poch, though? I think a lot of people are like fucking extremely harsh on him, man. Like they celebrated Lampard getting top 4, but the people forget that this guy got Spurs into a fucking Champions League final, bro. With fucking Spurs, man.
The only thing with
before him, Spurs would finish 7th, and he made them like a top 4 contender, top 2 contender, top 3 contender since he came. So I think he can do well at Chelsea. I think Chelsea fans are hypocrites.
With Southampton as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go ahead and continue the video then, boys.
I don't know. Mourinho probably take players to places in the stadium that like, I didn't know this place existed. So Jose knows. Been here a long time. We need someone to implement that mentality again. Now, when it comes to the football, when it comes to the way we play, I completely understand. Some people are not going to be on board with the way that he likes his teams to play. As I've said, me, personally, I couldn't care less. I couldn't care. And this is why I'm always, when it comes to styles, I'm always very open. I'm not fussed. If we have someone that's defensive-minded, great. If we have someone that's attacking-minded, great. This is why I wasn't against Sarri. If anything, you want to build a project, right? Sarri was actually the right way to go.
Yep.
Oh, shit.
But didn't really give much of a chance to Maurizio Sarri, and he decided he wanted to go back home because he was homesick. We didn't exactly make him feel very welcome. So there's that point that has to be made.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
What were you guys saying about
I
Sarri?
would say
Yeah,
give
it's-
Actually, that's
Sarri
funny.
cigarette break, innit? We didn't give him.
To be fair, to Younes, he's one of the people who wanted Sarri to stay because Sarri was doing a good job, man. Sarri, like the way that he transformed us from Conte system, and we were playing good football with Morata. Like I remember, we had one goal where every player on our team touched the ball before we scored,
Mm.
which
And
is
he-
for me, as a football hipster, it's a big deal. I know you guys, some of you don't like. I like technical players, man. So
He left
for me,
an impact on this team very quickly
Yeah.
as well. Within three games, you could see what he was trying to do.
yeah, people are saying like, oh, but he doesn't have Jorginho. He doesn't have Jorginho in fucking Lazio too. When
Against
he's doing
Enzo.
fine, man.
Yeah.
No,
And then we
he
got
has
No, I don't want
Enzo.
him to use Enzo. I don't want him to use Enzo as a 6 anymore, man.
I
I
don't.
think he's
He
so
won't.
like we're limiting him. We're limiting him
He
with that.
wouldn't,
fact.
but
I
I
don't
think
think
he
he
would
will.
get
Look
the
at what
best
he
of
does with
Enzo.
look at what he does with a
Vecino.
player like a Luis Alberto at Lazio. He doesn't have him playing as the 6. I don't even know who their 6 is at Lazio. Actually.
Vecino,
It was Lucas Leiva and he left.
You know, Vecino, the one who left Inter Milan because he was a
Oh, yeah.
backup. He's doing wonders with him. But yeah.
Continue the video, boys.
Sarri's good. Sarri's good. I would love him at Chelsea, but
Yeah, but he's not
No,
coming
it's
back. I'll be real, guys.
Yeah,
Oh,
probably
honestly,
not. I
can't
doubt
lie.
he's
There's
coming back.
capping
Yeah.
in the chat right now.
There's a lot of capping in the chat, but it's all good. We love it. We love an active chat. Big up to you guys.
When it comes to style of football, many people are going to go, no, I want my team to play beautiful football and I want us to do it in a certain way and all of that. For me, my opinion, and this is why I said there's no right or wrong. It depends how you interpret for your football, how you read the game.
Yeah, at least he
For
admits
me,
that.
I'm bothered about my team winning. That's it. I want my team to win. Done.
bro.
And of course, with
Marshall,
the
can you pause it?
objectivity, with the eyes on.
But why does what does it have to be? Again, they do this. It's like either that or that. We can be winning and have good football, bro. They're associated project manager with fucking Potter or Lampard, and that's the issue with Chelsea. We've been scarred, man.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing.
I appreciate that Younes does say as well, like it's his opinion. There's no right and wrong answer. The one thing I will say is like the most like annoying thing about me about this is I guarantee, say Mourinho comes, he's gonna be part of the same group of people that in 2 years after Mourinho comes is like, I don't know if it's working. The players aren't happy. We should probably look to move on from Mourinho. And it's like if we just went for Flick or Enrique instead, we're not having this problem.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I just find like the whole Mourinho thing, and the same with Simeone. I just like with these managers, like I just don't get our idea of like, oh, in 2 or 3 years we'll have to look to replace them. Why don't you just go and get someone then that in 2 or 3 years you shouldn't have to look to replace? And the only reason you might do is because they've chosen of their own accord to move to a bigger club. Like I don't want it to be a case of, at least in that example, you can then go and get the next guy, and the squad is harmonious and together. It's like with like a Mourinho or a Simeone, they're going to leave the club in a worse position than when they found it.
Plus, they're gonna argue with this board so much. Like the way that people describe the time Tuchel was with this board, I'm 100% sure that Mourinho is gonna have a fist every fucking time he talks to them. 100% sure, bro.
Carl, they've probably blocked Mourinho's email. They've probably already done.
He's managed to. I said this earlier. He's managed to fall out with every single ownership or board that he's been at, every club he's been at. Like he's fallen out with the Roma board. Like.
Plus, I honestly don't think he wants to come back to Chelsea, if I'm honest. I think they're just rumors.
I don't think either. But yeah, considering as well, like these guys not fell out, but these guys managed to like find Tuchel like not very amicable after like 3 months.
Imagine Mourinho
will be gone in like a day.
Yeah, I know, and I love Mourinho. I love Mourinho, but I don't want him to be here and get sacked again. It hurt me, man. Whenever we lost him the second time, I hated all our players except for Hazard. It's hard to hide. Bro, I love Hazard. I can't hate Hazard ever.
I will say, just on what you said about the rumors, I guarantee he's going to be linked with us for every single year until he retires. Every single year until he retires.
Bro, if I was him, I would take the Portugal job. I think that was the perfect time for him to take international.
Brazil job.
If he can get like a good trophy with them, because he already won everything. He has nothing to prove. He literally has the same amount of Premier Leagues as Arsene Wenger in 1/3 of the time, bro. Even less in 1/4 of the fucking time, man. He has already done everything in the Premier League. I don't see why would he come back to ruin his legacy just to fight with Baldy, bro. just because these Chelsea fans want him to. And I love Mourinho. I fucking love Mourinho, but I don't know if he's gonna fit with the system we have now, with the kids that we have now. He's gonna end up like slapping Mount as soon as he does a TikTok, bro. He's too strict, man. He's too old-fashioned.
Kai, I would make the argument that maybe bar Enzo, every single player we signed in January, he would not gel with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
Every single player.
He would love Enzo, though. He would love Enzo, man. He's a bastard. You love bastards, man.
I was going to say that's why I think he'd love Enzo, because he'd love his shithousery. Like that's why I think he'd love Enzo. But apart from that, I guarantee you he wouldn't care anything for Badiashile. I guarantee you he doesn't care for Enzo or for not Enzo, Felix or for Madueke. And I personally don't think he cares for Mudryk, because I think he'll see him as he dribbles too much.
Yeah, I feel like
by the way,
counter-attack style though.
You need to track back.
It probably would.
Tuchel will never.
100
Tuchel will
of
never
you guys
happen.
watching. Smash that like button. But
Tuchel's
not going to happen.
Can I just say something about Tuchel? Tuchel wasn't a good option for us either. Towards the people like to I love Tuchel, right? I love Tuchel too, but people like to revision like what happened with Tuchel and the fact that we were fucking absolute dog shit before he was sacked.
And he was
right?
stubborn.
Like he wasn't working out for us, and I'm one of the people who was glad that we moved on from Tuchel, because at the time he didn't want to work with us. He has his own issues. He wasn't focused on the pitch, and we were losing games. So, people saying, yeah, we sacked Potter. Yeah, we sacked him and we got Potter. Potter wasn't the answer, but neither was Tuchel.
My problem with the sacking...
Yeah, we actually, by the way, ladies and gents who are watching, if you want to hear more about this Tuchel opinion, we did do a react like this about Tuchel's time at Chelsea, which you could check out. There's a playlist on the channel if you want to see our opinions on how the Tuchel falling out went and how we feel about it.
Bro, I hope a lot of our fan base don't have girlfriends, bro, because as soon as they break up with them, man, Jesus Christ, bro, they will never leave them alone. They'll be stalkers, bro.
My problem...
I was on the Tuchel thing. I will say that I don't know if this is what Will was going to say as well. The issue with sacking Tuchel wasn't necessarily.
Yeah, but it's not only two choices, bro. Yeah, I'm reacting to that to Matt, not to you, Scott. Sorry.
Yeah. No, he's a much better manager than Potter. But like as we've said, I would take damn near anyone over Potter. Like there are very few managers right now I would not take over Potter.
Bro, I did not expect Potter to be that bad either, bro. But it looks like he doesn't have a plan to what he wants.
No one expected him to be as bad as he's been. No one expected him to be as bad as he's been. And again, if you say you did, you're a liar. If you expected him to be this bad, you're a flat out liar.
We had our hesitations and our reservations about it because we weren't sure if he was the right guy.
And there's like you can question whether we're finishing top four, but that we're not expecting 2 wins in 15 or 17.
That's
or
insane.
Having relegation discussions.
Completely honest.
That's a disgrace, bro. If I did that my job, I would quit myself, man.
I was never ever Tuchel out, because one is probably my favourite ever Chelsea manager with Jose. Yeah.
Really? I don't know.
With him and Jose, I would never have said Tuchel out. I would never have done that. But the first issue is when they did it. Like either sack him before you sign players in the summer, or give him the time to actually work with the players that apparently he chose. And the second thing is, I'm going to be completely honest. Apart from Enrique, I would have Potter for me was probably the option that I would have liked as well. To be honest, like looking back on it. Like what Scott said, no one ever expects him to be this bad, and I actually admire his work outside of Chelsea. So I'm not even going to sit here and lie and act like I wasn't necessarily for Potter when Tuchel did get sacked, because apart from Enrique, who was still in the Spain job and was never going to leave at that moment, I thought he was probably the only option that we could have seriously gone for at that time. Obviously, it's gone horrifically wrong. Personally, I don't think we should have sacked Tuchel when we did. I think they should have been more patient and at least waited until the World Cup, where you can there's more options.
But the thing is, Will,
don't back him with all the players and then just sack him. It's stupid.
But the issue with Tuchel, you could see his divorce is weighted him down on the pitch as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sure.
You could see when he snapped at Conte, when he was going with our tactics, you could see that there's something beyond football. Beyond
celebrations.
The board should have made a more educated decision to sack him in the summer before you sign Aubameyang, Koulibaly over other options. Who else did we sign? Sterling, I still think will be a good player for us, but still that was too signing.
The problem was, bro, did they know that he had the alleged out of what activities? Also,
For me,
that's not true, Ahmed. I know that for a fact.
Okay, then that's fine. Then, okay, then
for me, the signing of Potter was a bigger issue than signing of the sacking of Tuchel. Because for me, like once you sign people like Lampard and Potter, it set a precedence that you can just join Chelsea without having an impressive resume, and that's what bothers me. That's what bothers me when managers who don't have that pedigree get the Chelsea job. I don't like us to be in an experimental kind of club, because we should have somebody like, for example, if you want to work like as a fucking software engineer in Apple, you should be one of the best at your field. And that's why my issue with Potter came in. I don't think he have done enough to warrant being a Chelsea manager. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys.
Potter was missing the step before Chelsea. He was missing the step before Chelsea.
Yeah, he needed a little bit of a step.
Same thing with Lampard. Same thing with Lampard. As soon as the pressure started piling on him, he just went to shit.
They all were missing.
I know he was better than Lampard.
Yeah, he was, but Lampard for me, man. Don't even get me started, Scott. Like for me, he's not a manager, bro.
Let's continue the video.
You know what he's like? He's like when you have when your dad knows somebody and he's like, "Hey, can you get my son a role? You know, I hear you guys have an empty role. You know, I did something for you back in uni, so you know, take my son." That's what Lampard was for us. But yeah, we move.
Let's continue the video, boys.
One more thing, just quickly. It's not like
go ahead quickly.
As much as I was open to Potter joining, I'm always going to be objective on a manager, no matter if I admire their work outside of Chelsea, and I'm not going to like change my standards of this football club just for like Graham Potter or whoever it will be.
Fair enough. I agree. Let's go ahead
and promoting some youth, getting players in, spotting good talents, being able to build a spine, and try and get a team that will last for the next decade. Absolutely on board with that. But in terms of how they do it and how they play, are we winning? Yes. Job done. I'm happy. That's it. I couldn't care less. So this is why, for me, getting Jose, not a problem. I know the football that we be playing. I'm all for it. I'm absolutely all for it. But Jose needs the correct players. I understand that snowflakes will not work in a Jose team. I look at this Chelsea team right now, and I would argue there probably are some snowflakes, but I look overall and I see potential in these players that I can actually get that, I hate to use the word, but the dog out of them.
God, that's...
You know, I look at Enzo and I feel like there is a toughness there. I even look at Felix. Now, technical he is, but I feel like there is a toughness there. You saw his first couple of games. He was going in for all sorts of challenges. He's smart when he knows how to go down. That's something. Mudryk's not had a good start, but you can just tell his eyes, man. You can just tell the way that his physicality. You can just tell if you had a manager that's able to push.
This man's looking intently into Mudryk's eyes.
I was again like all of this. Like I'm having flashbacks. I'm having flashbacks to talking to proper Chelsea like fans where they keep telling me about youth players, and it's like, bro, I see it in him. He's got that. I trust me, bro. It's that trust me, bro. Course, like
the minerals.
I like Mudryk does have it in him. You see how he trains hard and stuff.
I was gonna say this is nothing against Younes because, like you said at the start, like I like Younes.
No, it's nothing against Younes. Yeah, it's nothing against Younes.
It's just this is giving me mad flashbacks and just reminds me of people of like who the way they spoke about like Mount and the way they speak about Gallagher and the way they speak about like Kai. It's that like they just like they have it. Ollie's put it best. They have that aura. Like, bro, you're just telling me that you think they look good. Like, what am I hearing? Like, tell me what like I'm just hearing like he gets it. But
Mourinho represents something. Mourinho represents a safe space for a lot of Chelsea fans his age, right? Like because that for them, that's what when they think about the time that we were winning Premier League. So they assume that automatically, if we get Mourinho, life is rosy again. They forgot that we still have players from other managers. We still have our own issues. So I understand where he's coming from. Although I don't agree with it because for me, emotions are useless and it's for women. But yeah, we move, bro.
I love how he does. He does admit though that there are snowflakes in the team, and he does admit that would be a problem. So,
come on, we have guys doing TikToks, man. Come on, bro.
Yeah. But like at least what Younes is saying, at least he understands that there's cons with Mourinho. I wasn't sure he was going to admit the cons, which credit to Younes. He at least understands that there's cons to Mourinho that I think all of us agree with. We've all mentioned it. The falling out with the youth, He's probably going to have that. He's going to want his own signings. He's going to want to go back to his antiquated structure of football. I think for him, it's like what Kai said. It's like a safe space. With Mourinho, twice already, he's kind of gotten results for us and almost established a foundation, a skeleton, a mentality into this football club. I just don't know if that mentality is the one that we want going forward with Chelsea. I think we're trying to change into a same winning mentality and the same winning foundation, but with a different type of play or a different. You guys understand what I'm saying? Where I'm going with this? I think Mourinho would just establish us as a counterattacking team once again for years to come.
The mentality of the team is the only thing I can get behind Mourinho. Like he would make some of these players like what he'd do with some of these players would be brilliant in terms of he'd give some of them a backbone. He'd give some of them that don't have a fight. Like he would give us that fight as a team. Like that I can't argue with. It's everything else. Like that, because do you know what the thing is all that fight and backbone that he gives to the players will be the exact same things that those players use to get him out of the club when they don't agree with him. Like he did the same thing when he got sacked before. All of these players that he gave that fight to and that dog to, that's what they use to then get him out of the club. Like they just use that.
That was so blatant when they got him out as well.
He gets it. He gets it. That's all I'm gonna say, man. He gets it. So stupid, bro.
All right, let's continue the video, ladies and gents.
Physically and mentally, the guy will turn into a monster. That is how I see it. Reece James, future captain. The man's a beast. I honestly think you put Reece James under a mentality monster. I hate the mentality monster. You put him under a manager like Jose, for example, he'll be going through brick walls. You know, Thiago Silva, fantastic experience. He's already extended into next season. Imagine Thiago Silva being, the mentor in the team, being led by Jose. It'd be a privilege for Jose. Jose would be like, finally, someone of my flipping mold. Thiago. If you go throughout the team, the players that we know we're going to be getting rid of, and at that point, identify more players to come in. It wasn't too long Mourinho mentioned Osimhen of Napoli and said, if he goes to the Premier League, he needs to stop diving a little bit because they'll catch on over there. But he's got everything to replicate what Drogba did in England. If anything, we got a striker problem, haven't we? Who's our top two strikers at Chelsea in the last 20, 30 years? Didier Drogba.
Oh, I was going to say trivia, ladies and gents.
Both Mourinho signings, man. Diego Costa and Drogba.
Yeah. Or Costa as well.
Yeah, Costa.
She had to stop the test, you guys. Let's continue.
Yeah. Diego Costa. Who signed them? Jose. Both of them. Drogba, Roman, pay and don't speak. Pay. The rest is history.
Yeah, but that's not boy.
Diego Costa. Jose got him with Fabregas, didn't he? So honestly, that's another point. The youth is something that many people are scared of. The youth. That was my concern. I have to say, I honestly believe that with this new ownership in charge, Mourinho coming to Chelsea, when you look at Roma and the profile of job, like Jose said, he said it's a different profile of job. It's not somewhere that I'm coming in to, having to expect to win immediately. It's more of a project. His words, when he signed for Roma, his words, so it's a different profile of job. There's going to be more in terms of trying to scout the talent and trying to build and look long-term and all of that, right? He's done exactly that. 10 youth players from the youth team Mourinho promoted to the first team squad. 2 of them have been sold, made a bit of money. 1 of them out on loan. 7 of them still available. I think there's about 3 of them that make regular features in the first team right now. Zalewski, left back, left wing back, plays for Roma week in, week out. I think if Mourinho's given the profile and gone, we're looking.
Is it folks?
Okay, well, anyways, I think it did just.
I'm interested to see who else he named because, you're
gonna have to.
Okay, continue. Yeah, go ahead.
Do that.
I'll be interested to see who else he named because, he did promote some youth, but some of the younger players or some of the players that got promoted, at Roma that are in the team, were in the team before he joined. So I would be interested to see who else he named.
I forgot as well.
Plus, it's different. It's completely different, though. Of course, you want to go? Should I go?
No, yeah, mine's quick anyway. I forgot how bad we are being with strikers. Jose is the only manager really where he knows what an elite striker is. Like, yeah, like Jose could bring that. He might bring an elite striker with him, but that is a positive.
Yeah, but Jose only gets strikers who fits what he wants to do. He's not gonna get us like a striker who's gonna work for someone else.
Yeah, but
when he got Costa, he got it from Atletico Madrid because he knows they played similar style to us, where they were good on the counter attack. So he is that kind of guy. But my issue with Jose has never been the youth, because he has got Hazard, got Costa, all of them when they were 23, 24. That's not the issue. The issue is Mourinho likes older players to be part of his core. So all these younger defenders, all these younger midfielders,
25
he likes his core to be average 25, 26, 27, around that age. That's why we got Fabregas at his age when he was 26, right? 26, 27. He likes those guys. So all the guys that we have, all the Mounts, the Gallaghers, all of those, they won't feature under Mourinho. And that's not only that. All the defenders that we have, Fofana is not going to play for Mourinho. He's not a bulky kind of defender like Mourinho likes him to be. So he's going to change that whole team. It just doesn't make sense. I understand why they want Jose, but I just don't see him working with this board, because they already have the players that they want to sign. They already have the director of football and a view. So I don't get like how they want it to work out.
Can I just say,
I really don't get it.
I'm just looking here, by the way, on this idea if he plays the youth, he really doesn't. I'm looking at the games this season and the minutes. There's hang on a sec. There's one. What would you say as a young player? From what age do they stop becoming young? Would you consider
under 24 for me? Under 24.
Under 24.
Under 22. Yeah.
23, I would say
24. Let's just say 24.
There is one player who's still at the club who's played over 1,000 minutes who's under the age of 24.
Yeah. Plus, he would only play youth if he didn't have a choice. He's not gonna do it because he wants to. Do it because of necessity.
The guy that Younes mentioned, Zalowski, he's the only guy under the age of 24 that's played any considerable amount of minutes. The next guy that they've got a midfielder that's played 17 games, but that totals 396 minutes. Like, he's basically making every appearance off the bench. They got Zaniolo, who they just sold, so I'm not including him. Then the next guy has played 9 games, 360 minutes. These guys are not playing minutes. We can say, they're in the squad. Yeah. They're not playing minutes. They're they bought a young goalkeeper from Anderlecht, I think, and they're playing 35-year-old Rui Patricio ahead of him. Yeah. Again, this idea that he plays youth or plays young players, it's few and far between.
But asking him to play youth is also not fair from his point of view, because if I ever welcome Mourinho back at Chelsea, I want him to get what he wants. I want him to build what he wants, because we've seen at Spurs when he is given shoved things down his throat. Same thing with United. It's not going to work out. The only times Mourinho win titles and win trophies is if he's given full control over transfer, full control over structure, which I don't see happening at Chelsea at this moment of time. So people need to. I love the guy. I worship him, man. Literally, I love the guy, but I don't see it happening. There's no way, bro. There is no way he would come here and work with these players that we have now. Because, like you said, Scott, 8 or 9 of them don't fit him whatsoever. They don't fit him whatsoever. They don't fit him whatsoever. So I don't understand. I don't want him to be here just because these guys like him. I want him to be here when he actually has the tools to do his job. And us giving him youth players is unfair to him. It's unfair to him, just like it is unfair to us.
I feel like in this case too, specifically with our board and the way we're being structured, I think there might be too many hands in the pot for Mourinho's taste as well.
Yeah. Plus, if he doesn't get the signing he wants, he will let you know. He will let the whole world knows that he doesn't have what he had. Just look at Pogba.
Yeah, and as I said earlier, what he's going to want to do with this team is go away from what the owners are trying to do with this team. We're trying to lower the age profile of the team, and that's not what Mourinho does. We're trying to go away from we're just trying to go away from what he wants, and it's the majority. As I said earlier, I guarantee, in my opinion, a lot of basically every player that we bought in, bar Enzo in the January transfer window, I don't think suits what Mourinho wants to do going forward. The only other person I would maybe argue is Badiashile, because he's a centre back.
Yeah. plus he has a big forehead as well. Mourinho loves those.
Let's continue the video.
All that needs to be clarified in conversation when signing a contract, by the way. I feel like he would do it. I honestly feel like he would do it. And the more that he gets older, the more that I think he starts to think about that. Unlike before, where his prime objective, even as an individual, was to, I want to win in England, I want to win in Spain, I want to win in Italy, I want to do this, I want to do that. He's done it all. So now it's more, I want a job where I have stability. At Chelsea, he never got that. At Chelsea, he never got that.
Either,
other clubs, he never got that.
He will never get that either, man. There is no way he gets stability at Chelsea. Because Chelsea, like what they're trying to do now, they're trying to build team for the next 10 years. Like he's not gonna get stability. He will want the stability that he wants. He's not gonna want the stability that we want. Mourinho is not the kind of guy where he's just happy to be here and coach. Like it's not gonna happen, bro. Like I don't understand why. Like I know why they want him, but I think they need to give a chance to a manager who's proven, but also can play attacking football, has like a vision with youth. And Mourinho is not that guy. And I love Mourinho, right? I have to say that every time because people think I don't like Mourinho. Like if you know me, you know I love Mourinho more than
sexual.
Like,
You should,
bro,
you
I am a
Mourinho.
Mourinho.
I thought honestly, I thought you would defend him more than what you're saying right now. Which
bro,
is,
but what do I need to defend him for? He literally wants the most Premier League for us.
I
He
thought
literally
you
has
would
more than
argue
half.
for
Of
him
our-
bringing Mourinho into the
I
club.
would say like Mourinho.
I want
the
him.
best manager.
No, I
He's the
want him
best
back.
manager
Don't
we've
get me
ever
wrong. I want him back. Like in my mind, I would love for Mourinho to be back. But under the current, because you know me, like I'm from a corporate background, and I just like in order for us to have Mourinho, we have to kind of let go of a lot of the values that we're trying to build right now as a club, and I just don't see that happening. I would love it for it to happen. I think he would win us a Premier League again, but I don't think it's a good idea to do it because there's too much sacrifice on the line. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to look at it from an unemotional point of view. I'm trying to look at it from an objective point of view.
I think what Kai is trying to say essentially is
Don't wait
that,
for start.
you know, there are too many things you would have to.
Why do they keep
accommodate
saying like
Mourinho.
no way from Starbucks? What does that even fucking mean, bro? I don't drink Starbucks.
It's a Johnny thing. It's a
Oh
Johnny.
yeah, Johnny.
Johnny
The
thing.
IQ gang. The IQ gang.
I think with Mourinho, you have to accommodate him more than he would accommodate the club. Essentially.
Not one day.
Go ahead, Ahmed. Continue, bro.
No, I was just saying that you would have to accommodate Mourinho more than the club, than Mourinho accommodating the club with what they have right now. Essentially.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, Mourinho doesn't accommodate nobody, bro. Mourinho just does things that
and
he
that's
wants
the
to
thing.
do.
You want like I think the club wants a manager that's going to complement each other. Essentially, that's what it is.
No, but also, I feel like the club need to kind of face reality with the managers they sign, because I do think Chelsea need a manager who has presence. I don't want another Potter where people can just like fucking.
You need the aura. Is that you need
bully
some
him.
aura.
No, not aura, but I'm sorry. Like if you work with somebody, right? If you work with anybody on this planet over you want to see their achievements. Because like somebody like an Enzo who won a World Cup, right? Who just won a World Cup, is not gonna look at Potter and be like, yeah, this guy, he got 8th with Brighton. I'm gonna respect him. Unfortunately, humans don't function that way. They don't function that way. Humans function by leadership, and that's what I don't like. That's why I'm against the Potter signing altogether, man. And it shows now. When things get tough, you know, they're not gonna look down. They're not gonna look at this guy for leadership, or for management, for that matter, because they're gonna think, what does he know? What does he know? What does he win to kind of prove that to me? Yeah, go ahead.
On a side note, just going to the Chelsea Blue comment, why are we being Arsenal fans? Why are we reminiscing about shit that's happened in like 2007, 2006? Like that's not Jose's not the same guy. This is not the same Jose.
Plus, even if he is though, Scott, we're not the same Chelsea. Even if let's say he comes here and he's amazing manager, blah blah, he's not the same. We're not the same Chelsea.
No, but the thing is, Kai, I would say if he was the same Jose in terms of the style of play and in terms of the drive and everything that from back then, I would be more on board of bringing him in, because I think there is workarounds you can make. Same way with Tuchel, I think there was workarounds. Same way with Enrique, I think even though he's a bit of an abrasive guy, there's workarounds. But he's not the same manager. Like I said, Real Madrid ruined him from a mental aspect. Literally ruined him. Ever since then, he's not been the same.
Bro, Thomas, boys, if you ever watched Mourinho midfielder and you think Mount will play for him, you're a retard, bro. You're absolute retard, bro. Mourinho likes the one area at the pitch where Mourinho likes his players to be very technical is midfield. If you think Mason Mount will come into a Mourinho midfield, you're taking the piss, bro. You are taking the absolute piss.
Just waiting for Google to demonetize this video.
No, because it's stupid, bro. Like they actually think
No, you're
because
right.
Mason Mount runs a lot, he can go into a Mourinho midfield. Look at every midfielder he has in every fucking team.
I've
tell
heard
me if they're
people-
workhorses, bro.
I don't agree, but I've heard people. I don't agree with this take. Not with you, Kai.
Yeah.
I heard people say that Mason Mount, Jose would love someone like Mason Mount on their team.
Yeah, because they say that because they
lot of
assume that everything. See, if you actually watch Mourinho's team, like his midfields are always very technical, unless it's the DM. But the two center midfielders, the 8th or the 10th, they're always very, very, very technicals. They're very technical players, man. So where does Mount fit there, man? He's gonna take 3 seconds of that. Like literally, how Mourinho gets goals is the counterattacks. And how can you do counterattack if the guy takes like 3 fucking 4 touches in the ball?
I think initially Mount would start under Mourinho, but I think Mourinho would work out very quickly that Mount is not the guy. That's the thing. Like, because I can see Mourinho trying to use Mount how he used Oscar, but the problem is I can see him like initially at the start if he came in using Mount, and then I can see very quickly him getting very tired of how Mount plays.
Yeah, because Oscar was kind of technically good though. You can't like the one thing you can give Oscar is the fact that his first touch was brilliant, man. I think a lot of people kind of forgot.
I would say though, I don't think Mount's even staying anyway, regardless of whoever comes in next, because Mason Mount ain't signed a contract.
Ramirez was not technical, and look how many games Ramirez started for. As soon as he was able to replace
Mason
him,
Mount, I would say probably.
as soon as Mourinho was able to get Fabregas, man, Ramirez barely played for us. So people need to kind of stop.
Hey, does Mason Mount have that chip in him against Barcelona when we're 2-0 down?
Don't be that guy, Chris. Please don't be that one moment guy. Please, Chris. Please.
That saved us. That was enough for me.
Yeah, it saved us, but like one moment doesn't define a player.
And when Jose went empty down their tools, who turned up for Jose?
That's like saying Mount is creative because he did one through ball like against in the USL 3 years ago.
But Ramirez wasn't even a star. He was a rotational player.
Yeah, that's why people
that was good enough for us.
Yeah, but it's man, people. It's the same thing with the Mikel thing. People are now acting like Mikel was the next coming of Jesus, bro. All of a sudden now, but yeah, we move. They like to change history.
Let's go ahead and continue the video.
Now he comes to at Roma, lack of resources, not much money, spent a little bit, bought Tammy Abraham. Tells you everything you need to know. An actual Chelsea academy boy that wasn't doing that well, even though to be honest, he did well, but towards the end wasn't doing brilliantly. So they took him and was like, nah, I want to work with you. He does have an eye for it. Coming to Chelsea with the money available now. New ownership that I think will be more open to thinking long term than Roman. That's definitely something. And even for Mourinho, it'd be a point to prove. He would have something to prove at Chelsea this time, because he knows deep down if he fails at Chelsea, well, that's it. If he were to come back and try one more stint in the Premier League like now, he would have to succeed. He would have to make sure things don't blow up. He would have to make sure that he has the stability. He's come back. He lives 200 meters away from the stadium. It would be ideal for him to think, I want to be here for the next 5-6 years. I'm going to have to do things maybe a bit differently to before. But, in terms of personalities, relationships, all of that, he would have to tone it down. He would have to. Because if not, after that, what happens? If he wanted a project, he could have stayed at Roma. Although Chelsea, I think, is the one club that he would probably go, no, I'm going back home. So when you look at all of those points, that the only thing that strikes me is what would be the relationship between Mourinho and the new owners. That's the only thing. That's the only thing that I can go, I honestly don't know. It could work brilliantly because he would find more openness, more communication.
What are you predicting there? And I'm not gonna lie, Younes is
I can predict that relationship. I can predict that relationship, bro. I can see like
foundation in my stance a little bit with the sentiment, but yeah.
First of all, Mourinho doesn't like when the fucking owner just sit down his neck and watch him train all the time. No, he's very private. He didn't even allow us to have that many like open trainings to the media, if you remember, because he didn't want people to copy his tactics. So if people think like, man, I think people just don't realize that we're not the same Chelsea, man. We don't, managers don't have that freedom to do whatever the fuck they want. Now they're more like coaches than managers, which I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. It's just different.
Football's now become a lot more, I think, NFL or NBA like, where the coach is just there to coach the team. there's the front office who bring in the players, the pieces to help the team along. That's what it's been on. I mean, I watch a lot of American sport in it, so that's why I feel like what's happened with Chelsea. It's now happening in general now. If you look at Germany now, where they've got the GMs, the other managers, the other guys as well.
Bro, but I honestly think a lot of this comes from the fact that Potter is that crap. As soon as you replace him with the manager and we start getting wins, people can see people start seeing a vision, like a style of play. I think they would stop talking this way, where it's just emotion. I think just people are just hurt. They're scared where Chelsea are. They don't want Chelsea to go any more down. And as soon as this Potter guy leaves, I think people will start having a different kind of perspective about the whole thing, you know.
I was gonna say anyway, I do agree with Younes. He's got something to prove because, it's United.
What does he have to prove though? What does he have to prove?
No. Because everybody said he's washed. He's this, that, the other.
He doesn't give a shit. He has 3 Premier Leagues here. He has
No, I do
multiple
agree.
FA
Yeah,
Cups.
he's got that. Yeah, he's got that about him. He doesn't give a fuck. He even said when he's at United, I have 3 Premier League trophies, and the rest of the managers and the 19 managers in the Premier League have 2 combined. Respect. He doesn't give a shit what people do say, but I feel like there is a point to prove still. Not for, I don't know if it's himself, but oh, I'm not washed like you people think. I'm gonna prove you.
I don't think he cares about what the average person think about him, man. No, I honestly don't think he cares.
I don't know. I feel like it's give Jose's mind a bit as well. He just think like that. I'm not saying he he cares, he values their opinion. I don't think he values it or nothing, but I think he has got a little bit of a point like that.
I think a lot of people don't understand how intelligent Jose really is, man. I think people think he's not that pity of a guy. He's just very competitive, man.
By the way, nearly 8 of you guys watching. Make sure you're smashing that like button, subscribing if you're new, and hitting that bell notification so you don't miss out on streams like this when they come up unannounced. Let's go ahead and continue.
More money available, more all sorts, right? More of a project at Chelsea than he did under Roman. But at the same time, Jose's not a yes man at all. And if we are correct in our analysis that maybe they're looking to yes men, then he's got no chance. So that's it. But right now, we are screaming for this team to be brought some stability. We need some stability. And you can bet, even if Jose were to be short term, he would bring stability for the next 2-3 seasons. Minimum. Winning mentality implemented, foundation reinstalled, the culture back, the identity back. And then if Jose were to go, not a problem. But what these players in this squad that are quite young now learn in those 2 to 3 years, if it only lasts that long, is something they can take forward under new management and under someone that's going to elevate them to the next level. But I feel like what Mourinho can bring right now is exactly what Chelsea need right now. And then we'll see what happens. As I've said, if it lasts 3 years, it lasts 3 years. It's the modern day era. This is how it is. I'm not expecting the manager to come in and stay in for 8-9 years. I'm just not. I'm past that now. You got to understand short term, then long term. You don't get the long term without the short term. So it is what it is. And when it comes to being able to build in that manner, when it comes to a Jose coming and installing that point of mentality and laying that foundation, this team's young. Some fans are going, he won't do it with young players. He needs ready-made players. When we first had Jose in the club and we had young Czech, young JT, young Lamps, young Drogba, all of those guys, what happened? They were all 23, 24, 25. Worked wonders. We had a team that lasted a decade. It's exactly what we need right now. And I feel like Jose with these guys would do it.
Bro, you know what's funny to me, man? How much scarred Chelsea fans are after Lampard and Potter, bro. They are just scared of any project, bro. They're like, please, I just want to win again.
We're revising Jose history now. Like, Jesus Christ. Just how much stability did we have last time? A year where we won the Premier League, and then the next year all that stability went away, and we were 16th. Like, where's the stability?
No stability.
I told you, Scott. I think they're just scarred from Potter. You get another manager who starts winning games, they will start being more open to change. You know, it's human nature. Whenever you're in fear, you revert to something that you know.
The old days,
That's-
innit? The old days.
Yeah. That's just our human nature. We just revert to something a place where we were comfortable. And Potter and Lampard don't really help, right? Because these guys are just absolute fucking losers, bro, as far as managers. So, yeah.
Also, I'm just doing a bit of research because I want to dispute what he said about the young players at Chelsea, but I will concede if I'm wrong. I just would like
to. Job was
about
Lampard.
Czech, about Drogba, Czech, Lampard, and Terry.
Drogba was 26.
Yeah,
wasn't he, when he
Lampard
came
was
to
young.
the club?
Lampard was young.
Was Drogba 26 with Chelsea?
Was he? I thought he was like 24.
No, he was 20 when he was at Chelsea. When he first joined, he was 20.
Yeah, I don't think it's 26.
Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I must be.
Maybe you're thinking about the second stint? No, not even.
No,
not
maybe
even in the
not
second
that.
stint. Yeah, he was definitely older in the
Oh,
second.
he was 20, sorry, 22. My mistake, 22.
Yeah, I thought it was
To
24.
be fair to Drogba, he was good with that second stint when he came back. Even Remy, when he had Remy,
Yeah,
And I just,
Remy
again,
also.
like, it depends what you class as young, but I'm seeing here Good Johnson 25, Lampard 26, Claude Makelele 31, Duff 25, Gallas 26, Ferreira 25, Kesman 25, Drogba 26, Carvalho 26. Yeah, there are some young guys in here, but like there's still a bunch of old or experienced players. Like,
Yeah, Fofana
I
might
don't know
be.
about Lukaku.
There is a few players he probably would throw out. Like Fofana might get thrown out.
Yeah, Fofana, I'd be like, he's too skinny for me. He's not powerful enough. Throw him out.
I just
He plays too ticky-taka football for my liking as well.
Let's
Fofana?
finish this video. Let's just finish
Yeah.
this video real quick while Scott's looking up this the stats and such.
So let's wait and see. Something that at United and at Tottenham, I don't feel like he had. But that would be my go-to for right now. And realistically, as I've said, he would leave Roma to come back to Chelsea 100%. Especially if they don't make Champions League football, he would. He would come back home. But apart from that, yeah, Luis Enrique, available now. Hansi Flick, no, we don't know. We genuinely don't know. Although I would take Hansi Flick at the end of the day, I probably would. Zidane, unrealistic. Simeone, unrealistic. What else? Let me know down below. Much appreciated for watching.
All right, it goes dope. I mean,
Video.
I think it was a really good video, and I got to give credit to Younes. It's his opinion, obviously, like he said in the very beginning of the video. I disagree with a few points. I think we disagree with a few points here on the panel. But at the end of the day, like, I think he's being realistic about it as well. I don't think he's being deluded and washed.
You know what I like about
Chase
Younes? You know what I like about Younes? What I dislike about like all these other ones, the Ninis, the Lawrences, they all act like they know everything, bro. Like their opinion is the end of the world. Younes is like, this is just my opinion. This is what I think. Nini's like, you're an idiot if you think Potter doesn't need shouldn't be sacked. And then like 2 weeks later, he's like, yeah, Potter has to go.
Yeah.
But you literally just said that everyone who thinks he has to go is an idiot. They did the same thing with Lampard. Oh, if we get Tuchel would change nothing. Lampard should give it, and then they won and then we won the Champions League. They look like idiots. They look like idiots. You know, who was it that said like what I know is that I know nothing? Was it Einstein who said like you can't really know everything? You know. So it's the same thing with these idiots, man. That's one thing I like about Younes, man. He's always open to learn and he's just giving his opinion. But yeah.
Did you find what you wanted to find?
Oh yeah, no, it was just the ages, and as I said, I just went through and wanted to check the ages, and yeah, they're like, again, there are some young players in the list, but like the majority of them are fair, like not old, but they're
not
Chelsea
young, not the Chelsea young we have now.
They're not young, and like I'm just going to check the season after as well.
In their teen years and shit, like these kids that were
and then like
the
the season. Let me just check the season after.
But I would say I'm not really like, I think Chelsea does need like 2 or 3 like 25, 26-year-olds in this team, man.
I agree. Like on just like the player side, I think the next midfielder we bring in needs to be of a slight like on the older side.
Yeah, 25, 26. Yeah.
Yeah, like when it's weird. That's old. That's my age, pretty much.
Even Sterling, I wouldn't sell Sterling because I think Sterling is the mix of us, our age. He's good for our age group.
But yeah, like there are certainly other players like the next kind of couple of players we look at look kind of on the older side of it, or slightly older than what we've been looking at the moment. But yeah, it's on the man.
I just hope the owners think the same way we do, Scott. Because I'm honestly like, I think If they
Because,
sign
like,
another 3 or 4 21-year-olds, I think the chemistry of this team is gonna go to shit, man. I honestly think
I don't
so.
think they are. I think they're signing a mix though, because like, let me just like they've looked at Tony, or they were, and obviously like, but he's going to be banned. But like, even like Osimhen, like he's 24, like he's not exactly young, like he's not old either. Like
Ivan Tony's
he is
26
my
as
age.
well.
But he's
if we
technically
look at
younger than me, which is
Oh, they
depressing.
want to sign that midfielder from Leipzig, who is very good, man. I forgot his name.
Oh, I saw it. Yeah.
What, Hungarian?
You're not talking about
Yeah.
Zuboslai, are you?
I don't know.
Forgot his name, man, but he's very good.
He's from RB Leipzig. I don't know too much about him.
But
Zuboslai?
he's also he's not that
right.
young though. Is he?
Yeah. I don't know how old Zuboslai is. Yeah, I think he's actually really, really young, actually.
And Vivell is the one who wants him, man. Vivell is the one who was like scouting him.
I would
Wasn't
say
Vivell
Ivan
the one
Toney.
that got him there to begin with?
He's 22,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
he's
okay.
and yeah,
sorry.
he had him at Salzburg, and then he had him at Leipzig as well, I think.
Salzburg is where he started to make his camp.
Bro, I just hope that at least the DM that they get, I hope he's like an older age, man. Because I'm worried about this team being way too young, man.
So, by the way, before I do forget, almost 80 of you guys watching, smash that like button. There are some tweets here that I did want to talk about with you guys. So the first one that Ahmed sent us before he had to go. Chelsea are very impressed with Ruben Amorim before they hired Potter. Thomas Frank is someone that the owners might see as a good fit. Very data-oriented. Pochettino could come back into the mix. They're still hoping Potter turns things around. That's coming from Jacobs Ben.
Can I just one thing, Marshall? Like, how do they think Barcelona work? Do they think Barcelona is not very data oriented? Whenever they found they literally found Messi like as a kid because of how the data that he had, man. So I don't understand like this data oriented. So what? Only shit managers can be data oriented? I don't get that point, man.
No,
Well,
it's
not
yeah,
shit.
I-
Like,
I
I think it is unfair. Like,
it's not going off just name. It's not just going off like
Yeah.
name recognition. It's looking at important. I do get it because like,
do you agree with it though?
yeah, I agree
They
with
tried
it.
the same
Because
thing. They
that
tried
would
the
be-
same thing with
they're-
Potter though.
No, because their data-driven like way of doing things will be the same way that is the reason as to why they went for players like Badiashile and Felix, and why they put so much into Enzo.
No
Because
issue.
the data behind them,
Yeah,
rather
but
than going for someone that we didn't want, like a Rice, who is the name, like especially in the Premier League, they went for
Yeah.
someone who is better in Enzo because the data stuff.
No, but I'm referring to the manager though, Scott. Like they're saying, like a manager is very data driven, but
I think with the manager, I think the one mistake that this board did was hire Potter before they hired the people to consult about which manager to get.
I agree.
I think they were hyped up on the Potter because, like, in the beginning of the season, and we all said it here, we didn't think Potter was a bad manager. He was doing something really incredible at Brighton.
I don't think it's incredible though. I don't think
jumped
it's
the gun.
incredible. What he did at Brighton is not incredible, man. Finishing 8th is not incredible for me, man. But
I mean, it is considering where they were before and the players they had.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I was getting at. Where they came from, what the budget is they have, the teams are beating almost consistently. You know,
And
they're
it's,
beating
and
us pretty
it's the same thing. It's the same thing with Thomas Frank at Brighton. Like, and this is the thing is like they're both good managers, and I still maintain that Potter is a good manager despite what is happening. It's just they're not the right fit for us. The thing as well for Frank, and this is nothing nothing on him as a manager, but he is someone that out of England has even less accolades than Potter did outside of England, and in England, like his not his record, but like he we'd be looking even further down. The article I read earlier on like Enrique and Flick kind of worded it best. Let me see if I can find it. So it said here that it feels incredibly brave to look even lower down the league table than last time, which we would be doing. We'd be going like further down the league than where Brighton were. So yeah, it just feels a bit. It feels a bit odd. And again, it's nothing on him as a manager. Like as I said, I think he's a good manager. But yeah, just like that would just feel like just a weird move after what we've gone for. The Amorim one, I'm all for. The only kind of like, there's only two real like question marks I have, but they're not question marks to make me like go against him as like say absolutely no. It's just things to think about. One is that he basically exclusively plays a 3-4-3. Like that's effectively like what he has used basically his entire time at Sporting. He is
Oh,
married.
no, not again, man.
3-4-3, which I know a lot of Chelsea fans want to go away from. And there was another thing as well. I think defensively this season, they've been like really poor. But that could be due to the fact as well that they've lost a lot of players. Like because of how good they were last season, they lost a lot of players this summer and January. So I could get it.
For me, I feel like we could get a manager that there could be a sweet middle. You know what I'm saying? There could be a manager we could get that is data oriented, that fits the system and all that, but at the same time has some accolades to accompany it, like a Luis Enrique and Hansi Flick.
I think that's what like an Amorim is, because he has won things. Like you can question the what's it called, the strength of the league, but if you're going to do that, then question Jose Mourinho, because he won a league with a Portuguese team and a Champions League with a Portuguese league team. So like that, I think that's what Amorim is. And I think he would be a good person to get on like my top 5. He's probably like 3 or 4. Like it's a toss up between him and Poch, and I'd probably have him third. But yeah, as I said, there's just like question marks over him that like, not question marks, but like questions you'd have to ask and you'd have to think about.
Yeah, for me it would be Poch and it would be Enrique for me. I just think the style of football they play is good. Plus, Poch has been at Southampton and he also been at two biggish clubs in PSG and in Spurs as well. So he has that to him. And Enrique has been to Barcelona, which is similar to what we're trying to build, where it's like very data driven, where he works with young players. So for me, those are the two like that I ideally would want. Flick, I would like him, but like the way that Bayern is run, they just buy the best players out of fucking Bundesliga and just tape them together. So I don't know if he fits as much as Enrique and Poch. But that's where I stand with these two.
One more tweet that I want to touch on as well before we wrap up the show is Graham Potter. Apparently, I don't know if there was a press conference or something that this happened in, but Graham Potter has admitted his job is on the line. This is coming from Matt Law. That is a wild statement.
I'll believe it when I see it. Like he should have been gone off to Southampton at this point. Yeah. Like the problem is as well is like I'm in a weird kind of position with this whole Potter thing, because I do want him out. Like I'm fully on the side of I want him out. It's just like
there's a better manager in there.
No, it's not that. It's like I'm confused as to like it depending on when they're going to sack him, right? Say they sack him after Dortmund. At that point, I'm thinking about like, what's the point now? Because like, if you sack him at that point, it's like, what is the point? What is there to do at that point? Like, who are you going to bring in that's going to come like basically 2/3 of the way into a season? What are they going to achieve at that point? What's the point of bringing them in halfway through the season? Like at that point, you might as well keep him till the end of the season, because I don't think we'll be relegated. And like you might as well just keep him to the end of the season, or just give it to an interim manager till the end of the season. And who is there out there that is going to interim manage this squad? And I don't want like I'm not hearing people say Lampard or Terry. Like, please, for God's sake, be
realistic. Stupid. Yeah, I hate that. I hate when these people say that.
I was going to say, when I said earlier, there are very few people I would like not want to swap Potter for. Those two come under it. Keep those two away from this football club. Like again, it's nothing on them as players.
Then, yeah?
Nothing on them as players. It's nothing on them as people, even though one of them is a piece of shit person. Like as managers, just keep them away, please.
Yeah, they just have no pedigree as managers at all. Like when you say Potter doesn't have any,
if you're going to bring an interim in, who do you bring in? Because it's like, who's going to want to come in to be an interim? Like, but are you going to do a Hiddink even though he's retired? You're going to bring him out of retirement? Like that's the thing I'm at. Like I do want him gone. I'm almost at the stage of like, as long as you're not going to get relegated, you almost might as well wait until the end of the season, because who's going to come in now when there's basically nothing to play for?
But this is why I disagree with you, Scott. I think he should be sacked, because he shouldn't be rewarded to stay until the end of the season because of what he did already. And I think if we can get a manager who, in our long plan, will stay with us, we could give him some time to actually work on the team, instead of us just wasting the season away and getting nothing from it, keeping a guy who is the sole reason why we're in 10th, where we're suffering. So I think if we can get a manager we're going to stick with, who are we convinced with, I think giving him some extra time, like early preseason, him working with the team is better than just keeping a guy who's just been driving us into fucking chaos, man. That's what I
By the
said.
way, we need 3 more people to smash the like button and we hit 60 likes. Help us get there. Go ahead, Scott.
But yeah, just on that guy, like I get that, but like, what are you expecting in terms of, like, say Enrique comes in, like, are we really asking him to like right the ship or steady the ship this season?
No, I'm not asking him to steady the ship. I'm just asking him to kind of start building his team, so he has like a few games.
I just don't think it's fair on whoever we bring in to, like, because they are going to, like, regardless of whether we want or not, they are going to have to steady the ship, and I just think it's unfair to ask them to do that in the state we're in currently. Like,
but also, like, the way that we are now with Potter, I just see that this team suffering, and these young players are even declining even more in quality. So that's why I want.
But then my solution would be interim manager. Like, the solution at that point for me would be give it to an interim manager. It's just trying to find the right person who can be that guy, because I don't know what you can't give it to any of his backroom staff, because you would imagine that the backroom staff,
I don't want any of them.
Like, you'd imagine most of them would go. Like, again, like, as I said, are we going to bring Hiddink out of retirement? Like, I don't know who's out there to be interim.
If we can get Poch in, and Poch agrees that he wants to take on, and he agrees to work from now on, and would you be okay with that? Because for me, like, I just don't have a scenario where I'm okay with Potter staying here. For me, he has done too much damage for me to want to see him anymore, man.
That's fair.
Like, I really don't like the fact that he doesn't accept any of his failure as well.
I am the same. I'm just trying to think on the other side then of, like, you're either having to ask a guy to come in like 2/3 the way through the season and right the season when I know we can still get it, but we're not getting top 4. Like, this season is
so annoying to me though, Scott, because we could have, if we sacked him 10 games ago, we could have got top 4. Because look at Liverpool now. Liverpool is close to top 4 now.
Yeah,
but we haven't moved from 31 points since January.
But now it's just
that's what annoys me. That's what annoys me about it. This whole thing, man.
Yeah, but that's what I say. It's like, that's like, on one side it does suck because you either got to kind of keep him to the end of the season, but it's like, what as you said, what damage could he do in terms of the young players' development? How low could we drop? But then on the other hand, you're either saying, what interim manager could you get in, or is it fair to go to a manager like an Enrique or a Poch and go, like, come into this mess, like, instead of going if we could agree with one of those guys to come in the summer and be like, cool, at the moment the season ends, at the moment that the season is done, you come in and work with the players, and you have that whole preseason, and you have like a preseason where we maybe play or work harder than we should. Like, I'm going to use an example that people probably won't get, but, like, for example, in, like, the MLS has just started in America recently. One of the teams in there had not an extended preseason, but they basically played more games than they needed to, just to kind of prepare themselves more. So you kind of almost go that way, which I'm fine with. As I said, it just comes down to then who do you get in for the rest of the season? Like, what do you do with this team for the rest of the season? Maybe I know Alex has suggested it, and Jester, like, you go Thiago Silva player coach, but like, I don't think
that's extremely stupid. That's stupid.
I also don't think that's fair on him. Again, like, that's like, why are you putting that pressure on him, or why are you just?
Bro, he doesn't want to do that. He's a football player. He doesn't want to be a manager. It's not Sunday league, bro. You can't just, like, be a part-time manager, bro. Like this.
Yeah. The thing is, if he's happy to do that, I'm happy for him to do that. But like, he has to be okay with it then. And, like, I just it feels like you're putting more work on him when he's, like, damn near 40.
Probably has a wife and kids. He doesn't want to do that shit.
Exactly.
Fuck that, man. It's not his fault. We're in this situation where we are.
Play with Mount.
Yeah, like,
he's already stressed out not having to play with Mount, man. But boys, that was a good stream. I think that was a really good react.
I was about to say something. I forgot what I was going to say, man.
That's helpful.
I fucking forgot.
I'm sorry, I may have disrupted it, but big up to you, Kai. Big up to Scott. Big up to Will, Chris, Ahmed, everyone who came and joined in on the panel to react to Younes. Listen.
Oh yeah. I remember what I was about to say. Sorry, Marshall. I was about to say, Scott. Potter just said a line, a very famous line from your favorite manager, Antonio Conte. He said, "We must suffer in order for us to achieve what we want to achieve." That's what he said. So there you go, Scott.
There you go.
I know how much you love Conte, man.
There you go. That's a quote. That's one for the ages.
Actually, no, I don't hate Conte. The thing is, I don't hate Conte. He should watch as a manager.
Imagine we continue with Graham.
I did say I wanted us as a fan base to suffer. So
yeah, there you go, man.
So
Potter wants us to suffer too, bro.
Do you know what? Do you know what the thing is on that line? Like the thing is I do agree with that in general, but the suffering that we are going through like what a relegation team suffers through.
Yeah, and it's
like,
pointless suffering as well. Like we don't see any improvement in our performances.
Thing. Like I agree. Yeah, you do have to suffer, and this is the kind of overall like idea I had when I said that I wanted us as a family to suffer. We needed to suffer a little bit. I meant we needed to lose some games, like maybe have some inconsistent results. Maybe have some inconsistent results, and maybe hover around like somewhere between 10th to 7th. I know we're 10th now, but I didn't mean win 2 out of 17 and basically be in relegation form.
That is insane, man. And be told that's life. And be told that's life.
That's not what I want when it comes to suffering.
You know what it's like, Scott? You know what I like to compare it to? It's like going to the gym. Marshall, you go to the gym, so you know this kind of metaphor. When you go to the gym, right? Like you try to, you suffer, right? Because you suffer, you do your work, but slowly you see progress. With us, it's like going to the gym, but you eat it, like your diet is shit. Like you do all that stuff, but you don't gain anything. You're just suffering, basically. You're not changing, nothing is changing because you don't see the progress. It's the same thing with us. We're just suffering, and there is no, like with Sarri, right? Like remember Scott, when Sarri first came in, we were playing nicer football, but slowly you could see how the team is learning how to play out from the back. They're slowly getting comfortable with it. With Potter, I just see this team like starting to make stupider and stupider mistakes by the time like it goes on, and I just don't see the point of it.
And with the Sarri thing, it's like you could see the deficiencies in the squad that were letting the team down, like Alonso, like Asma. Like you could see those. You could see the deficiencies in terms of like Kovacic, where like his final third production was quite poor, and like Morata, wasn't it? There's no excuse, bro. We're seeing deficiencies in Enzo.
You got a whole new team. I'm
seeing deficiencies in Enzo that like I knew were there in terms of defensively, but they're being highlighted to the point where I'm not even joking when I say this. He looks worse defensively in some aspects than Jorginho in transition.
Yeah. Plus, like, even Felix, if you look at Felix, he doesn't try to dribble anymore, bro. Like it's like he took the happiness out of the fucking player, bro. And he's Portuguese. This guy's not football, bro. It's you, Marshall. You laugh, but it's true. Look at Felix last 2 games compared to when he first joined. Look at it, bro.
No, you're right.
He's declining. He's ruining their morale, bro. He's ruining his morale, bro.
These Portuguese, they love football.
They do, man. You've been to Portugal, bro. Everybody's at the ball, man.
You're not wrong. I just didn't expect you to say that. But yeah, man, we'll see. I feel like with Potter, if we continue on with Potter, there's going to be a banner outside of the bridge just saying "That's life."
That's life. Yeah, circus continues. Is that what they said about Lampard?
Continue. Yeah, like we got to see how this continues. Hopefully, these next 2 games will be decisive and something will happen. Either we start winning or Potter gets sacked and we find a replacement. And
hallelujah, man! We start winning 3-18. Yeah. Oof, we're blessed, man.
Yeah, hopefully. But guys, thank you so much.
I would take a goal at this point. I just want to celebrate a goal.
Yeah, another goal that isn't Felix's goal from February, please.
Yeah, that's the same. I just want to move away from 31 points, man. I'm tired of being there since January, bro.
I take no word of a lie. I take a Mason Mount goal just so I know what it feels like to see us score again. That's the lengths at which I'm at. I take a Mason Mount or a Kai Havertz goal. Fuck that. I take a Kai Havertz, like a 6-yard like open goal where he shushes the crowd. I would take that because I just want to know what a goal feels like.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if I want to move on from 31 points that much to the fact that I want Mason Mount to score, bro. I don't know, man.
That's fair.
This is how much I want this guy gone, man.
We'll see. Your dreams might come true, Kai, but let's go ahead and wrap this stream up.
Yeah, the day he leaves, I'll celebrate, man. Not gonna lie.
Thank you guys, everyone who came in and watched. Make sure you're smashing that like button if you haven't already. Thank you, everyone who did. Make sure you check out our memberships. We have 4 different tiers starting at 99p. Quick and good way to help out the channel. Also, you get emojis. We're going to unlock another emoji and 2 more memberships. It's been fun using those emojis, so by all means, come and check them out. It also comes out with other perks as well. Make sure you're subscribed. If you haven't already subscribed, hit the bell notification. You don't miss our streams when they do come up promptly like this one. And tomorrow we should be back with the reaction to the Leeds, right, versus Chelsea game. That will be at 10 o'clock UK time. So make sure you're tuned in for that one. So, and, Casually Chelsea on Sunday as well. So Guys, thank you so much for watching. You have a wonderful night. There's no one for us to rate, so we're not going to be rating. But you guys have a good night, and thank you for tuning in. We'll catch you later. Peace. And stay casual.